Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to the penultimate round of the 2015 GPVWC Supercup. We've been to so many places so far this year, and certainly in my opinion, we have saved two to the very end here. Here we are at the Circuit of the Americas, a track of elevation changes, sharp corners, and a massive straight as well. It provided such great entertainment last year with rain and hot temperatures galore, but today it's a little more mild, a little more timid. And, well, what a task Risto Capit has to try and keep his Drivers' Championship chances alive. Remember, Walk Racing has taken the team's title here, but the Drivers' title is still open. It's Risto Capit versus Ruud Heesterbeek, and that Dutchman is only requiring of 18 points scored in total here today to be able to secure that championship. We will wait and see whether he is able to do that. For the time being, no, let's introduce ourselves. I'm James Kirk. On the comms once again on the cameras is our wonderful Geordie friend Josh Johansson, and with me, as always on co-comms, is Sam Jones. Now, Sam, last year, massive temperatures, like hugely hot temperatures at the Kota. Today it's not too bad though. Temperatures are a little bit easier. And we're already seeing that as last year's pole time was beaten already in this qualifying session. Risto Capit on top with a 140.3. De Vries looking pretty close though, but this pole position's pretty crucial for Capit, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, hi there guys, good evening, and great to be here at quite an exciting track. And yeah, Capit really has, well, nothing to lose, you could say, but you could also say he's got everything to lose. Today he has got to go out there and he has got to put on the performance of his life just to really try and stay in this championship hunt. He really needs to get the pole and needs to convert that into the win to be able to keep up with his teammate, who is the championship leader, of course, Ruud Heesterbeek, just to try and take it to the final round of the season and keep any kind of chance that he has of the championship open. It's going to be a tough one, but Capit, we know he's quick, and he's already proven that again today. But of course it could be completely out of his hands as well, because Heesterbeek could wrap up the championship just for his own doing here today also. So it's going to be interesting to see, and I think we're going to see Capit really go all out and not really worry about spinning himself off or crashing, because he's got to win this one today.
It is a fascinating top five as we look at it with 2 minutes left to go. Capit from De Vries, and then we have Tobias Olsen, who's now playing reserve at Malta Force following the departure of Terence Gregg. He's up there in P3, which is an extraordinary effort from the Swede, though. That said, it is his racecraft where he sometimes suffers, and I think he retired in one of the races yesterday in a Formula Challenge as well. Those three are actually beating out Jarl Tyen, who was pretty dominant at Abu Dhabi, got a second and a first after he dropped down from Super League, so Jarl being pegged back a bit here. And then Adrian McNaughton for Storm Racing Team, rounding out the top five, and Sandy Choda actually there in P6 I noticed as well. So people who are not usually in this top six doing very well indeed. And we're looking at the gaps as well between P1 and, let's see, where is the second down? It's gone to the top 14, where everyone is within a second. So actually the times are quite spread out, and the reason why I was double-checking that is because Risto Capit has just improved to a 140.290. It's going to take a pretty big effort to overhaul the Estonian from taking his third pole position of the year, Sam.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy one. I'm looking at the likes of Greg Scheller, who we've seen how good he's been in qualifying this year, and he's all the way down in 11th as well. He's, I know he's missed a couple of rounds, but you wouldn't expect to see him this far down, and it really is close, as I think that was Tulikas going up into 6th position for
1,000th behind McNaughton as well.
DP, yeah, very good effort. Yeah, the top 15 all separated by a second, and that is surprising as well, considering how long and how complex the track is here in Austin. It's got a lot of corners to it, so a lot of places where you can lose time, but at the moment it is really close, even between the top two.
Time up as Ruud Heesterbeek, actually no, I lied, sorry, who's moved up then? I think it's Muscat, yeah, Jason Muscat going to P8. And by the way, we welcome back Emmanuel Gachella, who's just left the game, ironically. Just gotten married, that's why he's been gone for the last 3 rounds. So, congratulations, Emmanuel. and many happy returns as the days, months and years roll on by. I see Olsen has stopped, I see De Vries has stopped, and so really, Tyen's off circuit, Tulicus is in the pit, so I think it's pretty safe to say, actually, that Risto Capit has probably taken pole position. We'll see whether he can improve on that 140.2. No, he can't, but I reckon that might very well be it, actually. As Heesterbeek's down 0.5 by Sector 2, we're hearing. And
he's got a lot of traffic in front of him as well, so he might even abandon this lap at this rate.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see where anybody else can improve. I noticed Jordan is still... Oh no, Jordan's just finished. So he's finished P8 actually, Jordan. That's a very good effort from the Smart Power driver. I think Muskett's done. And here's Heesterbeek then. He's got someone in front of him. I don't think we're going to be seeing much of an improvement. I'll tell you what, P10's not going to be good for the Dutchman. He does improve, not above P10. So a difficult starting position for Heesterbeek, but a wonderful position for his championship rival and his teammate, Risto Capit, who takes his third pole position of the year. His first since the British Grand Prix.
Yeah, good effort by Capit, and that's actually surprised it's been so long since he's taken a pole position, actually, because he has always been there or thereabouts, and definitely the grid looking very, very tasty now. A lot of drivers you wouldn't expect to see, like Choda and Jordan, you know, they're not always really up there. That you'd expect them more.
Fifth, Olsen third.
McNaughton, Olsen, yeah, we saw him in Formula Challenge yesterday, actually come through the field quite dramatically in race 2 after spinning, so he looks like he's got some good pace around this track. It's definitely seems to be one that he likes. And then Heesterbeek down there in 10th as well.
You got Pocher down there as well, Gashela, Francic, Swokas as well, Melim as well. There's a lot of people out of position, or well, we say out of position, but that's pretty reflective of their pace, wouldn't you say? It's just other people were better on the day.
Yeah, and it's not in some cases, it's not like they were that far off. It's just that it's so close between the top, at least top 16, and then the guys behind are only a couple of tenths off as well. I think that perhaps some of them might be getting the end of season blues. They're not really practicing too much, and perhaps that's why they're not really showing their kind of pace here today in qualifying.
Well, I'm sure Capit and De Vries will be happy enough. De Vries, of course, who was a championship contender until last time in Abu Dhabi. He is now out of contention. We'll see how things go on there. We've already gone over the Drivers' Championship, and that's the main thing which we're interested in. But, of course, the Teams' Championship, despite it being over, is still quite important because today there was, or not today, but in the past week, there's been an email sent round to all the career ladder team managers saying whether they're looking to participate in the same series next year, whether they want to move up, whether they would be happy with being relegated, though I don't think anybody would be happy with being relegated, to be fair. But either way, interest has been asked for, presumably shown from quite a few people, I think myself included, to be fair. And we've got to remember that the Teams' Championship now is going to be pretty important. We are expecting the very exciting move up to R Factor 2 next year in the career ladder. And with that comes the debate of, should we make the fields smaller just to make sure that we're not overstretching ourselves? Should we keep it at the same limits as they are? So lots of debating to go on, but it means that you want to be as high up in the Teams' Championships, in the Super League, of course, Constructors' Championships, as you can, so that you're not at any risk of potentially being relegated or being kicked out the Championship because you don't want to accept being relegated. Let's look at that Teams' Championship then, shall we? So Walk, don't have to worry about them. They've won the Championship. Next up, however, is Satellite Racing. They're on 537 points, pretty safely on those 537 points as well. They are a full 70 or so points ahead of Simcraft. And now Simcraft have got big issues. They have both their drivers here today, Choda and Melim. But Wouters have got Tyen and Francic. Now that is a very strong lineup. They are only 24 points behind Simcraft. And of course, Storm Racing, they now have Gashela back. And they are a further 26 points behind Wouters. So that battle for third is still very close between the three of them there. Multiforce is all on their own and on 337. I think they're pretty much secured in P6. And we've got the rather massive battle then in the bottom half of the table. I'm counting 7th down to 12th, really, which could all chop and change. Twitch Enterprise GP on 200, Mazurek Racing on 182, Smile Power Racing on 177, Positive Sim Racing, who've had a real fall from grace after Siggy left. They've recorded, actually, and I've double-checked this, the first quadruple retirement of the year as a team. Not a good round for the Abu Dhabi. They're 4 points behind Smile on 173. Then it's Street Fighter on 163 after Tapper's incredible recovery drive in the second half of the season. And Racing Aces PB not hitting the heights at all that they were hoping for from last year. 158 points they are on. And then there's the bottom three. The three you should be very well. Two of them could be worried. TSA's pulled out. They're in 14th. Fox Racing, thanks to the efforts of David Junt, actually overtook TSA last time in the United Arab Emirates. But nevertheless, they're still a full 105 points behind PB ahead, and ST, who have started scoring again with Mark Fuller, or scoring for the first time with Mark Fuller, I should say. They haven't even overtaken TSA yet. They're on 21, a full 14 points behind them. So for Fox, ST not looking too good, Sam, but that battle between 7th to 12th looking very juicy, I would say.
Yeah, it really is. You got Twitch, Enterprise GP on 200, as you said, all the way down to Racing Aces PB on 158, and that is just a matter of 42 points. And considering you can get 25 for a win, not saying that any of these teams are going to win, because as a matter of fact, oh no, Hoztech Positive have got one win out of
Siggy.
those 6 teams, but of course, yes, that was with Siggy, who is no longer in this series for the rest of this year. So still they could hope for, say, a second or third, which is still a good haul of points, 20 and 16 respectively, and that could just boost any of these teams' chances of moving up or down. I think it's more likely that a team will go up quite dramatically than down, and I think that's what someone like PB really need, because they had such a strong season last year, and now they're all the way down. Just you'd say if this was football, they're just outside the relegation places. They're that far down in the field. It's not been a great year for them, but let's hope they can try and turn it around in these final couple of races. They've got Hins, actually, Thomas Hins today. So I don't think he's actually done much in the way of Supercup.
This is his first Super Cup round.
Yeah.
Ever. And then we've also got other new people, actually. So we've got Daniel Sharanku in at Fox Racing. Of course, David Junt now at Fox Racing as well. So Sharanku replacing Verzile for this round. Olsen, of course, has moved to Malta Force. He has previously been at Mazurek and Racing Aces PB before that. And I think we do have one other new one as well. Yes, we do. So Miles Dixon. I know we've got two, sorry. We've got Miles Dixon, who's been away from the league for quite a while, but came back in Open Series. He is at Mazurek now, partnering Hoekstra. And James Ross is filling in at ST, usually with Viking Racing in Formula Challenge. James making his bow here in Super Cup today. So nice to see some new faces, of course, trying out the middle tier. As there's not many opportunities now. In fact, there's only one more opportunity after this week to be able to try out the middle tier, though that said, you never know how much is going to change when R Factor 2 is heading our way next year.
Yeah, you'd have to say that it's probably a little bit fruitless now, isn't it, to be trying it out, because it's like trying on an outdated car. You're not going to get a new one like that. It's going to be very different, and that is what's going to make next year also exciting. But we've still got a lot to go this year as well. And I just noticed that ST have only got one driver today.
Oh, no, Fuller.
Yeah, that's only the second time this season they're actually only going to field a single driver. So it's not been bad in terms of representing and turning up for races, but it just means that they won't really be able to do anything in terms of overhauling that 14-point gap between themselves and TSA Racing. Not getting those abbreviations out. It's going to be very tricky for them. They're going to have to sign someone or hope for a miracle in the last race if they want to do something now, I think.
Do you think it looks even worse that, given that TSA pulled out halfway through the year, that ST still haven't overhauled them?
Yeah, I think I do. TSA had some fairly decent results, nothing spectacular, but you'd have to say that TSA probably would have finished the season ahead of Fox.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
ST Racing should have actually overtaken them by now for sure, and that might be something to reflect on them, but who knows? We don't know what's going to happen.
They might pull a Bono Huis out of the box for the final race and win 2 races. You never know. What we do know for sure, though, is that we are just about ready to get started with the formation lap for race 1. 32 laps in our feature race here today. Sure to be a mixture of 1 and 2 stops once again. But looking forward to it for sure. No grid penalties to go over because all the people with grid penalties are not here or have left the series. So it sure makes the work of our race director for tonight, Chris Williamson, a lot easier. So then, pole position, and indeed his third of the year, Risto Capit the Estonian for Walk Racing leads us off. Ideally, he will want to finish in the top 2, otherwise that might straight away be game over in the long term in the final 4 races of the year. Sven de Vries for Satellite Racing will start P2, and ahead of him, an incredibly impressive effort from Tobias Olsen in the Multiforce GP car, once driven by Terence Grech. He is ahead of Jarl Tyen, who might be a little bit disappointed to be down in P4, but still a nice position there for Wouters Automotive, looking to overhaul Simcraft ahead of them for 3rd position. Adrian McNaughton with a great effort from the Englishman. He's P5 for Storm Racing Team, with Wright Tulikas P6 for Twitch Enterprise GP. Sandeep Choda, P7 for Simcraft Racing, in another good qualifying for the Indian. Dennis Jordan in a good qualifying for Smart Power Racing P8. Jason Muscat, P9 for Multiforce GP, and then our championship leader, Ruud Heesterbeek, starting P10 for Walk Racing. Remember, he needs to finish P2 in this race if he wants to secure the championship by the end of this race. Wopke Hoekstra then starts P11 for Mazurek Racing, with the recently married Emmanuel Geschella starting P12 for Storm Racing Team. We then have David Franchich starting P13 for Wouters Automotive, with David Junt P14 for Fox Racing. Menno Klont starts P15 for Satellite Racing, with Miko Swokas probably a bit disappointed to be down in P16 for Twitch Enterprise GP. Marcel Rauter starts P17 for Smart Power Racing, with Pedro Malim even more disappointed than Swokas, I'd imagine, P18 for Simcraft. We have Dawi Tapper P19 for Street Fighter. Argenis Riera rounding out the top 20 for Racing Aces PB. Daniel Sharanku on his debut, P21 for Fox Racing. Thomas Hinz on his debut, P22 for Racing Aces PB. The 2 positives in racing guys, again, very disappointing. P23 and 24 for Batala and Batul. And then Miles Dixon and James Ross round out the grid. P25 and P26 for Mazurek and ST. Your prime runners from the start then. David Junt in 14th. Dawi Tapper in 19th. James Ross in 26th. So it worked for Tapper 2 weeks ago, actually. He came home to get his first podium of the year in Abu Dhabi, so might work well for him again.
Yeah, it's quite a long lap here, but they're all near the end now, and Capit's starting to line up already. He's stopped halfway down the straight, just practicing a quick start, looks like, as he lines up in his grid spot. And I know what you're going to ask me, James, so I'm going to answer it before you do.
It's taken you, 15 races to figure it out?
Yeah, it's only taken that long. But my guy for today, is I'm going to have to go for Risto Capit today, because he's got a lot to do. He really needs this win, and I think he's determined, and he's probably practiced quite a lot as well, so he's my man.
Capit for me as well, as we have 4 and 5 lights, and here for the first time at Kota, we are racing, and it's a great start there from Jarl Tyen, who squeezes through the middle of Olsen and de Vries straight away at the start. Olsen with a decent start himself, and a little wiggle from Capit there into turn 1, but he does still lead. De Vries down to P4 there as Olsen holds on to P3. Let's look further down the field, see if there's been any issues. No, I don't think anybody's too far out of the position, so not too bad a start from everyone there. But the perfect start from Risto Capit then, as he's rounding the mighty Sector 1 here, going through turn 7 and now into turns 8 and turns 9, heading down towards a bit more of a simpler section. The downhill roll to the turn 11 hairpin. I'm sure we're going to see plenty of moves into here. This and turn 1 have got very wide apexes as de Vries there tries to take Olsen around the outside. Jill doesn't get it done, but he is still there, and people hassling the back of the Swedes. We head down the massive back straight, one of the largest on the calendar. I see de Vries there attempting to overtake Olsen, but Jarl Tyen's looking towards Capit now, looking to be a bit of a nuisance on the Estonians. De Vries does indeed take Olsen through in turn 12 there, and behind I see Ruud Heesterbeek from P10 already up into P5, so the Dutchman's had an excellent start to this race, already into P5, only 2 seconds off the lead. Not good for Risto Capit at all. as we now head around the anti-turn 8 from Istanbul, also known as turns 17 and 18 here, and into deceptive turn 19. You can't take this too fast, otherwise you will run wide, as Jarl Tyen almost doing there, but heading around the final corner, turn 20. And onto the second lap we go. It's Risto Capit leading from Tyen de Vries, Olsen, Heesterbeek, Choder, McNaughton, Muscat, Hoekstra and Tulakas.
Yeah, what a start, I'd have to say. It was so clean throughout the majority of the field, even though we had like 5 wide going into turn 1. It's Xenon's looking up the inside of Klont into turn 1 right now. And Klont just runs the wide line and actually manages to hold on to the position. Bit of contact coming out. But Klont holds on, and Jordan's now on the back of Gekshela. So Jordan didn't actually have a very good start. He's dropped about 5 or 6 positions. And he's back to where he typically tends to run near the start of the races and then moves up, so it's a familiar territory for him as Tyen runs a bit wide, I see, but still on the back of Capit as De Vries is on his recovery and he starts closing up on the top 2 as well.
I think we'll keep with these guys as Tyen has taken turn 11 quite nicely there. It's all now a question of wing settings as we head down the back straight, and I tell you what, Tyen's wings are not looking too shabby, are they? He looks to the outside of Cappy, who goes defensive, but Tyen's already passed him on the straight, and before they've even hit the braking zone, Jarl Tyen takes the lead of race 1 here, though he runs a little bit wide, and this might give Cappy a little look in. No, and the Norwegian, who was looking so strong last time in Abu Dhabi, looking strong once again after a slightly disappointing qualifying. He was back into P1 though. Capit dives down the inside of the arena into turn 16 there, and he retakes the lead as we head through turn 17. A nice little battle between these guys. All of this helping De Vries and Olsen though, who might see this as a chance to take the lead for themselves. And look at that, De Vries right with them now.
Yeah, he certainly is. Capit's still got Tyen all over the back of him. I thought Tyen might have looked into the final corner. He gets a bit of a wiggle coming out, and Capit just manages to edge a little bit. I think Tyen's wings are going to bring him back in as we go up the hill towards turn 1. Capit decides to do a bit of defending. Tyen doesn't bother and just sticks to the racing line and gets a good run out of the first corner, and now he's got the inside for turn 2, and Capit just squeezed him just enough to put him off, and Capit holds onto the position, and I think he'll stay line of stern pretty much through this tight, twisty section of lefts and rights and lefts again. It's very much reminiscent of, say, Silverstone or Suzuka, and it certainly doesn't promote overtaking, but it looks absolutely fantastic. But Tyen's remained with Capit, and now he's got a good run up into the next hairpin on the track, again up a hill into a very wide entry. But Tyen's sat behind Capit because he knows he's got the better wings, and he'll know that if he gets a good run out the corner, then he's probably going to get him down the straight.
He's got Olsen as well for company here. Remember, for those of you who didn't watch last year, Tyen actually won the first race here at Kota last year, and he's looking to do the same again. He's on the inside this time of turn 12, and surely that is signed, sealed and delivered. He gets it stopped in time to make the corner, and that is Tyen through into P1. Risto Capit, all of a sudden, look at that, De Vries hitting the rear of Capit. He's looking a little bit vulnerable in these early stages here. De Vries and Olsen looking like they might, looking like they're much faster than the Estonian, to be brutally honest, and this is exactly what he didn't want, especially with his teammate already up in P5.
Yeah, he certainly didn't. He's already losing ground to Tyen a little bit. I thought he might have had a go into the stadium corner once again, but really he was just too far back. He's struggling. He is definitely struggling in the middle of the corner at the apex. That's where he's losing a lot of his time. You could just see that even De Vries is quicker than him and literally pushing him out the corners. As Capit, he gets all squirrely and loose under braking, locks his brakes. That gives
Nice
De Vries
move.
the inside coming out turn 1 and gets it done and closes the door into turn 2. Just about, he's going to hold on. So De Vries is into second now, and Capit is under threat of not being in this championship hunt at all.
Under threat from Olsen overtaking him at this stage. The Swede looking very fast indeed, and he's got to watch out because here comes Heesterbeek as well. He's broken clear of Muscat, Choder and Tulakas behind, and he's starting to catch up to his top 4 as well, though Tyen starting to pull away as well. So watch out for Tyen now. I think we're going to have to see what his tyre wear is like. But he's looking all ready to go ultra defensive, thinking there might be a bit of a threat from De Vries down the straight. We'll go down into turn 12, and I think De Vries might have caught up a bit, but then again, I don't think so either. He goes in quite comfortably, actually, but we'll have to watch out for Olsen, see whether he fancies his chances on Capita's behind them. Tulakas, they're getting past Choder around the outside of turn 13. These two going side by side, but Choda, retain the position. Tulikas now going into turn 15, onto the apex of turn 16, but Choda taking the outside line, maintaining more momentum, going side by side through turn 17 and 18, both of them giving themselves plenty of room. Good to see a nice clean racing between the two of them. Choda holds on for now, but good racing in the lower parts of the top 10, as well as Tulikas up the inside of turn 20, perhaps. He sticks his nose in there. And on exit, he has got it done. So Tulikas to 7th, though Choda might want to have a little look back through into turn 1. Look, there's Tulikas going to the middle of the road, Choda going to the outside. Into turn 1 we go. Tulikas goes for the apex and blocks Choda off nicely. Ooh, almost contact between the two. Tulikas holds on, though, as we look back to Tyen, who's all of a sudden under all sorts of pressure from De Vries again. What is going on here?
It's a bit like Abu Dhabi, isn't it, where Tyen got off to a good start and then kind of slipped into the clutches of those behind him. Perhaps he's just overheated his tyres. As now De Vries already looking up the inside as we go to the hairpin at the very top end of the track. Up the hill, De Vries is already ahead by a nose and gets the move done in the corner, although Tyen's going to get the switchback, get a good exit, and now it's going to come down to the wings. We haven't seen these two battling in terms of their straight line speed. And I think De Vries knows that he's going to have a bit of trouble going into this next corner because Tyen has got very good straight line speed. They're side by side. Tyen is going around the outside of De Vries.
Contact between the two, surely.
I think there was. Tyen's actually run wide and he's had to come on and squeeze Capit going through the next section of corners. Wow, that was close, but just about clean enough.
Oh, and there goes Tyen up the inside of turn 16. What a dive that was. What a move. To be fair, I think he was a little bit poor at De Vries there. He was pushing Tyen out to the middle of the track when Tyen was alongside him. That's, that's a warning, I guess. But, it's contact nonetheless. And I can imagine why Tyen would be a little bit impatient, therefore, to get back past as Olsen almost runs into the back of Capit there. And look at this, our four-way train starting to attract some onlookers. Heesterbeek coming up to them. Muscat coming up to them. Tulikas coming up to them. Great battle for the lead so far is De Vries. How he didn't go into the back of Tyen, I will not know. How on earth he's able to hold on to P2 there, I do not know. But the battle for the lead's getting a bit feisty now.
It really is. All of a sudden, it's becoming a bit like another Monza in Abu Dhabi, where in the first stint, no one was able to break away from the lead group. It's exactly the same situation that we've got here, and it's absolutely fantastic to see. Tyen is certainly not having it his own way, and De Vries is going to have to try and find a way past without, falling to sleep like he did on the previous lap and letting Tyen back through once again. Look at that, Olsen looks at the inside of Capit, but really there wasn't a move on right there. And Heesterbeek's caught up with this pack as well now, and don't forget about Muscat. He's not too far away if these guys continue to battle.
Don't forget about De Vries as well, looking for the move on Tyen into turn 12 once again. Breaks much later and gets it done as well. That was clean up. The American back up into first, and anyone who knows Sven and Jarl will know how similar they sound to each other. So I certainly, it's going to be difficult to tell them apart in the interview room if they both get on the podium, of course. But look at this, great scrapping, and now Heesterbeek is well and truly with this top four. It is a top 5 for the lead. Sven De Vries just about holding on, and behind, looking at Muscat and Tulikas, they are starting to catch as well. Looks like Tulikas perhaps a little bit faster than Muscat at this stage, so they might hold each other up just by battling within themselves. Great first few laps so far. We're on to lap 7 out of 32, and here goes De Vries, ultra defensive once again, Tyen to the outside. De Vries breaks much later into turn 1 and completely misses the apex. Through goes Tyen, through goes Capit as well. Contact between Capit and De Vries. Capit into P2, and now the Estonians looking all over the back of Tyen again. Great stuff.
Yeah, after a few laps of just languishing in third, suddenly Capit looks like a hot prospect once again as he moves into second position, and De Vries will be ruining his braking there into turn 1. I think that's 2 times in a row where he hasn't quite got his braking correct as these cars snake through this incredible first sector, and Tyen has actually got a bit of a gap between himself and the rest of them, so this is his opportunity to try and break away. But even with his low-ish wings, you'd have to say that he's probably going to get caught up a bit down the straight. Capit won't be able to overtake him, but he'll certainly get close to him, and that is what's going to make it really interesting going into this final sector, as I think there's going to be a battle for 6th and 7th. Yeah.
Yes, Tulikas through on Muscat. And that looks like a nice move there from the Estonian. Yes, it is. Up into P6, but I think what we've got to remember with Tulukas is he's very heavy on his tyres. Expect a 2-stop from him at the very least, whereas most others will probably be looking to 1-stop. Behind these guys, by the way, there's been more battling going on. Hoekstra up into 8th, Choda down to 9th, and Gashela up to 10th, and McNaughton, who had that wonderful starting position at P5, already down to P11. Dennis Jordan, who started P8, down to P12. Klont up to 13th, Malim up to 14th. Marcel Rauter currently rounding out the final point position there. So a good battling down in those positions. But to be fair, looking at the now almost 6-car to 7-car train for the lead, I think I know where our eyes should be on for the moment.
Yeah, certainly there's nowhere else to look, is there? As Capit looks up the inside, kind of half-heartedly there on Tyen, but he's kept within Tyen's, well, pretty much on his gearbox, as a lot of these guys are right now. But De Vries is also right there, but there's just nowhere to go in this section. You can't really make a move, and you've got to just keep up the momentum and just make sure you're on the back of the guy going towards the next hairpin at the bottom of the track, or top of the track, turn 11. It's known as, I don't think there's any corner names here.
There are no corner names here.
It's, these modern tracks, you need some corner names. They'll come up with them over the years. They'll probably have an Andretti and others like that.
Yes.
Don't be surprised. But now I think here we go. I think we're going to get an overtaking manoeuvre here, because Capit is on the back of Tyen. He's looking to the outside. Tyen's actually going to take the race in line, so he doesn't feel too threatened. But Capit sticks it up the inside, and Heesterbeek's actually got past Olsen at the same time as well. So it's another move for Heesterbeek, and he's coming for his teammate, and Capit, I'm sure, is well aware of it by now.
Surely. We head round turn 16 then. And in battling with Olsen, by the way, Heesterbeek's just dropped off a little bit. But now he has passed Olsen, and hopefully once he sees that he's so close to the lead, let alone his teammate, he'll be on it sooner or later. A couple of people running wide there at turn 19. The DC will be checking for track limits as ever, so I've got to watch out for that. Don't want to be gaining too much of an advantage as we head up to turn 1 once again. Capit, he looks to the inside. Will he make it a bit more definitive? Yes, he will. He sticks up the inside, and Risto Capit retakes the lead then. And he tried to cut off Tyen there. Tyen stuck his nose in, but Capit has retaken the lead then on lap 9 of 32. And now it's up to Tyen to retake it, but I guess the more important factor for him currently is to fend off De Vries and Heesterbeek behind.
Yep, and it's going to be, once again, I don't think Capit's going to get away, and he could actually come under threat, thinking about it, down the back straight towards turn 12. That's where he could really struggle to try and hold on, as Tyen's just fallen off a bit, but gets a good exit out of turn 11. And now we'll see him down the straight. There's just a bit of a gap, about 0.4 of a second between Capit and Tyen. So we'll see how quickly he can close in. But he's got to worry about De Vries as well, all over the back of him. But De Vries doesn't quite have the straight line speed, and Tyen actually looks to the inside of Capit, just lets him know that he's there. And Capit just has to shuffle his way through the corner just to hold on. And now look at Tulukas. Really good effort by him. He's caught up with this train as well, so we've now got 6 cars in this train.
It's time for the lead. Time for the lead into turn 16. And Capit had to be fast on the brakes there to allow Tyen back through. And De Vries even faster on the brakes as Capit braked heavily in front of him. So Tyen back into the lead. We've also had our first retirement of the day. Marcel Rauter, who I think might have had a pedal issue or something, because he just stopped in sector 1 and retired the car. So the German, our first retirement of the day, but back up to the front then. What order this is going to end in, I don't know, as De Vries tries to go around the outside of Capit. Capit going in the inside of Tyen, not able to do anything. De Vries looking on the inside of Capit of turn 2, that's dangerous. And Capit just about able to hold on, but look at Heesterbeek. He is right there now. It's almost like a win, it's for the taking.
It really is. Now Capit looks to the inside. Yeah.
Good.
Wow, that certainly wasn't a place to overtake, but Capit tried it, and it didn't quite pull off. Look at the cars just snake through here. They're so close together. De Vries now is going to have a look at Capit, surely. He's all over the gearbox of him. He looks to the inside into turn 11. Brakes pretty late, actually. Gets the apex of the corner, gets the job done. But Capit gets the switchback, gets a good run. But De Vries is already thinking about the slipstream of Tyne. He's going to go after him. They're all so close together. Anyone can make a move here going towards turn 12. This is fantastic. De Vries is going to the inside of Tyne now. And Capit's on the outside to try and take advantage of anything. And De Vries gets the position.
Move.
Doing 2 corners, De Vries is back into first.
Oh, here goes Tyne again up the inside of turn 13. And he's pushed De Vries out very well. So he gets Capit on the inside. 3 wide in turn 15. Oh my goodness me. And Tyne there running De Vries off the road. So Capit now retakes the lead once again. De Vries into second. Tyne third. Heesterbeek still fourth with Olsen and Tulikas still in pursuit. Olsen up the inside of Heesterbeek now as well. Around the outside of turn 19, the Swede goes. Runs off track. Unable to take the position. What a crazy couple of corners and complexes that was, though. So Capit now back into the lead. Lap 11. We're a third of the way through this race, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on to your butts. It's about to get a little bit more exciting. There's Tyne up the inside of turn 1. And how on earth he drifted through turn 1 as there was a bit of a Constantina effect there with Heesterbeek and Olsen and Tulikas as well. I think Heesterbeek was a little bit closer. There goes Kevin at the inside of Tyne. Unbelievable driving from all of these guys. Capit's still in the lead.
I can't believe that those guys have come out that entire battle with all their cars still in one piece and still on the road without spinning. This is truly incredible right now. I cannot believe what we're actually seeing, and it's not going to be over yet. The only thing that I'm not looking forward to is the pit stops. I don't want the pit stops to happen. I want this to continue because this is absolutely fantastic what we're seeing right now. And I think once again, as we go down this back straight towards turn 12, we're going to see it happen again and again. Because here we go, Capit's having to defend from Tyne, but Tyne's got the outside. There was contact, but Tyne's going to get the outside into this corner, but Capit breaks so late. They're side by side through the corner, but Tyne gets a good run on the curbs as well. Gets a position, goes ultra defensive straight away. De Vries goes around the outside of Capit to get the position. He could get Tyne as well. Look at that inside.
Move.
Into the
Can he
stadium.
complete it into turn 16? What a move from Sven De Vries. I think I'm going to call that now best move of the year so far. Sensational stuff from the American at his home track as well, of course.
That was incredible, and he's actually managed to hold on to the position this time. They all run wide coming out of turn 19. They're pushing so hard. They're going onto the AstroTurf.
As Tulikas in. We expected him in early, and he's into the pits from P6 there. As we keep on with these top 5 then. Olsen still in the picture as well as De Vries goes ultra defensive on Jarl Tyne and Capit and Heesterbeek, who've gotten involved in a couple of braking issues. Olsen in there as well. Still involved as... Oh, wow. De Vries and Tyne, I'm pretty sure their tyres were touching around turn 2. De Vries still on top, but I don't know about you, Sam, but it just seems like this is boiling up just a little bit too much now. I'm almost expecting an incident to come of this.
Yeah, there's only so much you can take, especially when you start to lose multiple positions, which we've seen each of these drivers do in the previous laps, dropping from first to third. It's really about momentum right now from one corner going into the next. It's so hard. And once again, I just keep repeating myself every time, because here we go with Tyne. He's now looking to the outside of De Vries towards turn 12. We know he's got the wings. He takes the position already, so the position is done. But De Vries is going to look back on the inside because he gets the slipstream. Brakes well, and Tyne's nearly off the road there, but manages to hold on to it and keeps up the inside for turn 13, but actually gets decent kind of run, but just gets a bit loose. And De Vries does the clever fingers, absolutely defensive for turn 15? 16 there. Very important there, because he would have easily been passed up the inside had he not. So De Vries has actually managed to hold on to the position for a lap, as Tyne's actually lost his position to Capit.
Wow.
Just lost it coming out that corner.
And here goes Heesterbeek as well. Oh, no! Goodness me. Tyne wanted to pit. And, well, Heesterbeek wouldn't let him. So that's held up Heesterbeek massively. And is that Must get into the pit? No, it's Olsen into the pit as well, along with Tyne. I was thinking Olsen was falling off the back of these 4. Geschella in as well. So we'll see where these guys come out in respect to Wright Tulikas, who pitted earlier. Meanwhile, De Vries has held on to lead, then Capit second, Heesterbeek third, Muscat still going. Choda, Ocean, McNaughton, and Malim still going. Malim in a nice battle with Francic actually as well. Tapper, of course, on the prime compound tyre, along with David Junt. They're still going. Then it's Cont, Tyen back out into P13, but right to Lucas has jumped Tobias Olsen there in P14, so that might be crucial.
Yeah, he definitely fell off, both him and Muscat, really. Olsen and Muscat, the two multi-force guys, dropped off in that last lap, and I think Muscat's probably suffering even more now. He's losing a little bit more ground to the leaders, and probably those that have already pitted as well, because they'll be on much fresher tyres. So we've actually got a bit of a calming at the front now, because De Vries and Capit have spread out just a little bit. It could be a battle. But I think Hoekstra is going to look up the inside of Choda, going towards turn 12. He's on the inside, hits the apex and gets the job done. So that's Wupke Hoekstra up into 5th position at the moment, ahead of Choda, but of course these two still have to pit.
Yes, indeed. And nobody going on to the options just yet. Tyen Prime, Tulukas Prime, Olsen Prime. Actually, Gashela's on options, so Gashela will have to pit again, which could prove an interesting strategy. He's going to have the 3 guys ahead of him on prime tyres, so we're expecting him to be faster. Look at that, already onto the back of Olsen, Gashela. We'll see how much of a nuisance he makes himself, as Capit is in. And Choda follows him as well, McNaughton and Muscat in as well. So it seems that now is the time to pit. Franjic and Malim follow them in as well, and Tapper and Yunt, the 2 prime runners up at the front here. Continue round, so it's just De Vries, Heesterbeek and Hoekstra who are still yet to pit. Risto Capit onto the primes. Going to come out behind Tapper and Yunt. That might be crucial. I mean, interestingly, actually, look how far Capit is ahead of Tyen. So Capit just going through turn 1 now. Clont in between the 2 of them on the options. Tyen a good couple of seconds behind. And then it's Tulukas, Gashela, who's now past Olsen, Choda onto prime, McNaughton onto prime, Muscat onto prime, and Franjic onto prime as well. So we'll just see how long this lasts, as we've had our second retirement of the day. Miles Dixon for Mazurek Racing.
Yeah, I don't think anything's quite happening, just to make sure. I think Yunt's actually going to have a look on Tapper very soon as we go up into turn 11 here, and Yunt actually goes a little bit wide. Might not get the best run down to turn 12, but I'm actually surprised that the Multiforce guys have dropped back so much. I mean, Olsen is behind Gashela now. I don't know what's happened to them, whether they had a slow pit stop or what. I haven't seen it, but they both dropped back, and that was quite disappointing, really, for them.
I reckon De Vries' tyres have gone, because Heesterbeek has caught up a lot in this lap alone. The back of the American, and I would not be surprised to see Sven. So Heesterbeek remains out. We'll look to Wupke Hoekstra behind as well. The Dutchman into the pits as well, which leaves Heesterbeek as our last option runner into the pits. And let's see, De Vries onto the primes. That was to be expected, I would think, as Tapper and Yunt continue round. And let's see what Wupke is onto as well. Wupke onto the primes. And where is Capit in comparison to De Vries? It's going to be close. Out to the pits comes De Vries. Capit's jumped him. But De Vries has stayed ahead of Tyen. That might be crucial. Into turn 1. Capit up into P4. De Vries out in P5. Tyen then into P6 with Tulukas P7. All that's left to do now is to see where Heesterbeek figures into all of this.
Yeah, I think De Vries didn't have the best of in-laps. He lost a bit of time on the middle sector, and just to add to that, also Heesterbeek nearly matched his personal best on the previous lap, so he's kept a bit of life in his tyres, probably just holding back quite a bit while the top 3 overtook each other. I'm sure he could have got past at least one of them at one stage, but decided better not, and just to try and really push right at the end of this first stint to jump them all, potentially. That would truly be a champion's move, so I'll be interested to see where he comes out once all of this shakes back out again. I think it's just the top 3 now that haven't pitted. And of course, Tapper and Yunt, yeah, they started on the primes, didn't they? So they'll be going a little bit longer yet, because they want to keep that final stop just over the half distance of the race.
Remember, 19 laps they've got to make for the sprint races. Heesterbeek is in, and he is 20.2 seconds ahead of Risto Capit. I do wonder whether that's enough. I have a feeling not. Tapper and Yunt, though, they will definitely get past, so they will take the leaders. Oh, look at that, Tapper over the turn 19 anti-cut there, and David Yunt then will take the lead of the race for Fox Racing. And I don't think I've said that any time this year for the Belgian outfit, so they go through. Now, Heesterbeek, out he comes. Here goes Capit, though, and he has not jumped Capit. He has not jumped De Vries. Has he not jumped Tyen as well? Into turn 1 we go. Tyen stays ahead. That is very interesting indeed. The longer first stint for Heesterbeek has not paid off, and he might come under a bit of pressure from the potentially stopping Lukas very shortly indeed.
It's very interesting by Heesterbeek, because he certainly was putting in decent lap times right at the end there, and I wouldn't say the likes of Capit were setting the world on fire with their lap times after just coming out the pits, because of course they were getting the tyres up to temperature, and of course they are the slow of the 2 compound tyres as well. So I'm surprised Heesterbeek didn't actually jump a couple of these guys, so he's still got to try and make his way past 3 of them if he wants to win this race. He doesn't have to win the championship, of course. He's not desperate to win it.
Sorry, it's back up at the front. We do have a battle for the lead going on, between Tapper and Yunt on the prime compound strategies. Tapper back ahead of Yunt then after his mistake at turn 19. Just got to wonder when these guys will be pitting. I would imagine surely lap 20 maybe? Because the option guys have lasted about 12 laps. So in 3 or 4 laps time?
I think they could do 18 and do 14 laps on the options. I don't think that would be too much of an issue. Heesterbeek just managed to do it. Depends how good they are on their tyres. But certainly not yet. They cannot pit yet, because otherwise they will be in major trouble at the end of the race.
I tell you what, they're going to figure into the actual net lead battle, aren't they? Because Cap and De Vries are catching them at quite a rate of knots as well. As I'm looking back to Lukas, and I think he might eye up a move on Heesterbeek this lap. He's getting very close indeed. In fact, he is. To the inside of turn 1 he goes. And Heesterbeek lets him through. Is Wright going to hold on to that into turn 2? Yes, he is. Right, Lukas past Heesterbeek up into P6 he is.
Yeah, Lukas is looking very good today. Definitely pace all round, and seems to be actually perhaps a bit more pacier on these prime tyres. I think Yunt's actually just overtaken Tapper.
He's overtaken Tapper.
Yeah, through the first sector as well. That must have been quite the move. So he's back up into first as these two still battle away, but you're right, they are getting caught a little bit.
Ooh. As Tapper clips Yunt on the rear there, these two are having a right scrap. And look at Risto Capit and De Vries behind. We might have a battle for the real lead and the net lead of this race. We'll look to Yunt and Tapper first as they head down to turn 12. And look at those wings from Dawe Tapper, immensely better. And into turn 12 we go now. Tapper holds ahead as De Vries behind takes the net lead of the race. So De Vries through to P3. And, well, this is very interesting scenes indeed as Tapper and Yunt still scrap on. De Vries and Capit close, and then look at Lukas and Heesterbeek now reeling in Jarl Tyen as well.
Yeah, they certainly are. This is quite impressive, and I feel that Tyen might actually reel in the top 2 also, so we might end up with another 5-car train for the lead, which would be fantastic, and I think it might become a bit unbearable by the last few laps, the way this has been going this race. But yeah, Lukas looking good. He's just having to hold off Heesterbeek slightly there as well. I think it's probably actually the closest battle right now, although we have got pairs all over the circuit, haven't we? It's very good racing, it seems, this track here. Very good for slipstreaming and holding on to the guy ahead.
Yeah, remember, you've got Emmanuel Gachella here. That's Tyen. And that is off at turn 1 there. Let's have a look at what happened there.
I think he's stopping.
He just broke late and came to a halt on the outside of turn 1. And what has happened to Jarl Tyen here? I reckon actually that might be, looking at the way he slowed down and tried to get off circuit, I wonder whether he had a pop-up or something.
Yeah, perhaps the screen's dropped down. He's still sat there.
He's not retired.
He's still sat there, isn't he? He's not moving at all. He's definitely got his foot on the brake because he would be rolling if he doesn't. So he's still there.
He's out. That's a real shame for Jarl. We're not sure at all what's happened there, but was looking good for another top 5. Yeah, we wonder what happened there. Either way, that is Wouters Automotive with a big chunk of points out the window. What this means, though, then, is De Vries and Capit are really on their own. Lukas now breaking free of Heesterbeek. He does not have to overtake Tyen on track now. So it's up to him to try and forge a gap up to De Vries and Capit. And we're on lap 18 of 32 here now. So we might see Tapper or Yunt or both of them in. Or they might go around for another couple of laps and might get involved in this net battle for the lead. In fact, both of them are going around again. Should be exciting to see how this one ends. Remember, Manu Gashela as well on the option tyres. He definitely needs to pit again. He's working his way through in P7. And there's Olsen 8th, Choda 9th, and he's got Hoekstra and McNaughton for company in P10 and P11. Muscat 12th, who's fallen back a long way with his pit stop. Francis 13th, Jordan 14th, and Malim rounding out the point scorers today. Let's perhaps see who's a little bit out of position. I think the only person who's really out of position there is Swokas. He's had a bit of a nightmare somewhere along the road. He's down in P19. But apart from that, it's pretty much status quo. Look at this. The two are getting involved in the lead battle. De Vries having to try and overtake David Junt on track.
Yeah, he certainly is. Junt is looking a bit shaky now. He's been missing a couple of apexes, and De Vries has actually got the inside going up to turn 11, so he's already going to try and make the move. He doesn't want to waste too much time, and Junt's just getting out of the way like a bat marker, pretty much. Yeah, he's completely got out of the way. He's actually going to have a look on Capit for third position. Surely not, because I think Capit's is going to destroy him through the corners. Yeah, I think Junt's just thought the better part of it. No point really battling something that's going to waste more time. Oh,
what's happened to De Vries?
He's lagging.
Oh my goodness! Has De Vries gone? He just
flying.
Disappeared off the back straight.
Super De Vries.
Oh, and look at this, Hin's gone. Riera gone as well. And let's have a look here at what happened to Hin's and... Oh, and yeah, so let's have a look at what happened to Hin's. Yep, Hin's was a disconnection. What about Riera? Oh,
there's more. There's more.
Gashela out as well. Tulikas out as well. Massive server issues here today, wrecking the races of plenty of drivers. So
De Vries is back in. De Vries is back in, apparently.
De Vries back in.
No, he's leading. Is he?
No, he's not. He's Tapper out as well. Swokas out. I think this is a big server issue. I think we might have to call an end to the race, because that is a massive load of drivers out. And yeah, look at that. De Vries is back in and he is leading. But that's a big load. That's a massive load of drivers who are out. Surely they can't let the race continue like that.
No, De Vries, De Vries, we're just getting confirmation. De Vries is leading the race at the moment. He's ahead of Capit, of course, because Tapper has been one of the drivers who's unfortunately lost his connection during this crazy storm that's just kicked up on the server.
Surely that's a red flag. I mean, yeah, red flag. Red flag from Chris Williamson. So that is the end of race 1. For sure. How many drivers was that? That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was 6 drivers who disconnected at the same time, which is quite a chunk of our field, considering that we had 26 at the start. And right call, Sam. I mean, 6 drivers in 1 disconnection. I think there's going to be a lot of people, De Vries no least, who will be thinking, why on earth did that happen? I was in the lead. Whereas there's going to be other people saying, well, look, we all got disconnected. I mean, look at the likes of Racing Aces, PB, Twitch Enterprise GP. They lost both of their drivers in that disconnection. So surely they'd be feeling pretty relieved right now and be feeling pretty angry if the race did continue on.
Yeah, it's always a tough one to call, because it didn't affect the leaders too much there. De Vries managed to come back in to the action, but it's a case of, well, 6 people have lost their race through no fault of their own. It's like I don't know. You can't even compare it to the real world, can you? It'd be like just saying, right, 6 cars, you're not gonna race here. Everyone black flag 6 cars. It's like for absolutely no reason at all. It's something that you cannot compare to. I suppose it would be like if, say, Pirelli gave 6 cars a dodgy set of tyres and then they all got punctures and they fell out the race because of it. That's the only thing I can compare it to. So it's a very hard one to call for the directors, mainly Chris Williamson, who's pretty much the one-man band. No.
No.
75. That means we might get half points, won't we?
I think, what lap were we on? We were on lap
18
or so.
62%.
I remember we had this issue with the Japanese Grand Prix last year, and the rule was... So, let's go over a bit of context here. The rule is, in normal racing, you complete 75% of the race, you're classified. So if you score points in the top 15, or rather, if you disconnect in the top 15, as my cold's deciding to come back as I commentate, if you disconnect in the top 15 and you finish 75% of the race, you score the points. However, Japanese Grand Prix last year, we thought we would get half points because it completed over 50%, but didn't reach 75%. No. Full points awarded to all the drivers. So unless something has changed, then what we're going to do is we're going to have a 1 lap count back from before the disconnection happened.
Wait, does that mean that Tapper wins?
Oh my god. That might... Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Well, that would be a turn up for the books, wouldn't it? Tapper
Yeah, so it'd
Yunt's
be
top two.
Tapper P1, Yunt P2. That's incredible.
De Vries and Capit.
So that would be a win for Street Fighter. Incredible. But to be fair, the one outfit that they needed to catch, if anyone, was Street Fighter. And they scored 25 points. Yeah, so Tapper wins.
Result will be taken as, based on a countback as usual, just confirmed by the directors here.
So Tapper, in starting on the prime tyres, and Yunt in starting on the prime tyres, have just lucked in massively there.
You've
That
got to be
is
in it to win it, though. haven't you?
incredible.
It's like a rain-stopped race in NASCAR. You just got to be out there at the right time, and that's the way you can pick up your first win sometimes. And that's the way it goes. But a good effort, though. Good call and good luck, really. You can only say.
Now, we're having an interesting discussion here in the lobby, as there are understandably a lot of people who are very annoyed. Some people calling for the entire race to be restarted.
Oh no, please! Someone has got to get to bed tonight.
I mean, yeah, it's too late for that. We're going to have a truncated broadcast, if anything. So there we are then. So I mean, Pedro Melim saying restart. No, I don't think that we are going to be getting a restart because it's been 66. The fact of the matter is that we have got a point scoring scenario, and I think the other half, in order to score half points, I think it's something like 10% of the race completed. So if we hadn't completed if we hadn't completed 4 laps of the race and there was a mass disconnection, then I think everyone's got the right to say yes, we can restart the race, and we would restart the race. But past that 10% mark, there are points being scored. You know, there are points being earned on track. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. But what it does mean then is that we've got to try and figure out who was in the reverse grid positions. So it was Tapper, Yunt, Capit, or De Vries or Capit.
De Vries and then Capit, wasn't it?
Yeah, De Vries and Capit, then Heesterbeek.
It depends. At what point did Tyen disconnect?
When did Tyen disconnect? So hold on, Tyen disconnected on lap 17, and everyone else connected on lap. You disconnected on lap 18. Everybody disconnected on lap 19. So I think what we do is we count when they crossed the line on lap 19, I think. If not, Tyen's gotten very lucky. We need some people to tell us what's going on.
It's hard.
No idea anymore.
If someone could give us a print screen of the at least the lap in which we count back from, or count back to, maybe that would definitely help.
Yes.
I think there's going to be a bit of a lull here before we get to race 2, because we have to work out who's in what position, don't we? It's critical for race 2.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I'm trying to remember the last time that we had one of these server crashes. I think it was Barcelona. Actually, didn't we have a server crash last year in America? I can't remember. I remember we had one at the end of. We had one. Yes, you were with us last year.
I wasn't. Well, no, because I was on holiday last year. So I
in
missed
America.
This round.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It was Lewis, wasn't it? Yeah. So we had. I remember we had a disconnection at the end of Spain last year.
Yes.
But I think this is the first one this year that we've had.
Yeah, wasn't there one in Super League?
There was one in Super League last year in the Japanese Grand Prix, and that's what
Yeah,
people are.
we're referring to. Yeah. We definitely had one in Super last year as well, though. I do remember that.
Yeah, and that was definitely Barcelona.
Yeah. I can't think we've ever had one in Formula Challenge in recent history, anyway.
Which is bizarre as well, given that that's the one with the most drivers.
Yeah, you'd think that's where it'd probably happen.
Oh, sorry, as a team boss as well, I'm trying to go over what's happening with my drivers. Of course, you got disconnected as well, so
Another good
it's
point.
bizarre. Everything's thrown out the window.
Another good point to bring up as well, James, is what happens to our championship right now? Does that mean that Heesterbeek's won it?
No, because Risto Capit was ahead of Heesterbeek. So the two scenarios which we had was Heesterbeek has to score 18, but on the flip side, in order to keep his championship dreams alive, Risto Capit has to outscore Ruud by 32 points.
I'll say, doesn't Heesterbeek only need a 50-point lead going into the final round?
Exactly. So Heesterbeek's already scored either 11 or 10 points, depending on when the countback happened. Because Jarl Tyen disconnected from, what, P5?
I'll say, I'm getting my maths confused here. I'm thinking that Capit needs to outscore Heesterbeek by more than 32 points.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So Capit has outscored Heesterbeek in race 1. Because Capit finished... Capit was 4th, we think. And Heesterbeek was 7th, we think. Because Tulikas had overtaken him by that point.
Wait, hold on a sec. That would mean that there'd be 78 points between the two. And
yeah, so...
then that's more than the 75 available in the championship.
Yes. So Ruud's won the championship?
As long as what you're saying is correct, that
yeah, well,
Capit
was 4th and Ruud was 7th.
If that's the case,
that's
definitely.
depending on the countback, of course.
Yeah.
But...
If Capit was 4th, he scored 13 points, and De Vries 7th would score 9. Heesterbeek 7th would score 9 for Heesterbeek. That's a 4-point difference. There was 82 points between the two going into today. That would mean that the gap would come down to 78. But of course, there's only the gap would come down to 78. But there's only 75 points left in the championship now. So he can only score. Yeah.
But in that case, Ruud Heesterbeek is our 2015 Super Cup championship winner.
Wow, that's certainly an interesting way to win the championship, isn't it?
As I'm just going to leave and rejoin because my camera's gone very odd. But yeah, what an odd round. And it had such great battles as well. And there was still plenty of a story to be told. Just, I think Mike Pittman just coming on and saying these things do happen. You never know when it is going to strike. I tell you what, I've just had a bad omen the past week because I was commentating in another league and there was a disconnection before the end there as well. Not this, or not this early in the race, of course, but they're following me around. No, this is great. What a lovely track.
It's been great for the racing, hasn't it? It's been a surprise to me. I didn't realise how good it was going to be here today. Because I'd never really say that F1's been amazing around here. It's been okay, not bad races, but Super Cup always tends to deliver good races. But that was a fantastic first race. It's such a shame that we would have never found out, whether De Vries or Capit would have been able to pull away, or if
what sort of influence Tulikas and Gashella would have had.
Yeah. Of course, Tyen was there or thereabouts until he left as well.
I think Tyen was irrespective of the disconnection, though. He was definitely out of the race.
Yeah.
But we don't know what happened to him.
It kind of looked like, to me, like a cat got on the table or someone came to the door.
It was very bizarre.
He was still aware of where he was, I think, but he was clearly distracted or had other requirements that he had to take care of. I don't know. Speculating here, but hopefully we'll see him back in race 2.
Yeah, indeed. I'm going to check Twitter to see whether anybody's complaining on there. Because it must be said there's a real divide here. You've got a lot of people who are understandably annoyed that the race hasn't been restarted or didn't start from the same thing, but it's just the rules. And I don't know about you guys at home. I don't want to take away Dowie Tapper's win.
I personally would have red flagged it if I were the race director. I mean, over 50% of the race, we lost a fair few, a significant amount of drivers. It would have been a red flag as far as I'm concerned.
Tell you what, let's get a conversation started on Twitter, shall we? To everyone watching the broadcast,
Yes.
hop onto Twitter and hashtag GPVWC Supercup and let us know.
Or even better, I'm going to start a hashtag on my own. Hashtag red flag gate.
Hashtag red flag gate. No, we'll just go. We'll just go with the usual one. So
Yeah.
GPVWC Supercup, the hashtag, or mention my personal Twitter handle at Kirky Life, and let us know. There were 6 people in total out of a 26-man field there who disconnected. It was 66% into the race. Would you have red flagged? I think I would have red flagged. Josh would have red flagged. Sam, would you have red flagged as well, or would you let it continue?
I'd have had to say my first initial reaction when I saw it all kicking off was just get the red flag out, because this is so unfair on all the people that are getting kicked out for no fault of their own. It'd be a shame to see. I have actually done leagues before where I've raced in where even when we've had people getting kicked out, we've continued the race and just said, well, at the end of the day, it's unlucky that you've gone, but the rest of us still want to race anyway. I don't know what. It's always a hard one to say. I think people really do need to say whether they would or wouldn't, or do you not red flag during a DDoS, which it could be what this is. Who knows what it is? It's a rare thing to happen. It doesn't really rear its head that often, but when it does, it's always very controversial.
Yeah. It is. I am not looking forward to the cleanup cruise on the forum this evening. Or at least I'm not looking. I don't envy them at all.
I've just noticed in the chat, Whoopkie Hoekstra suggested Macau for 2016.
No, never.
On R Factor 2 as well.
There's a very nice version of Macau on R Factor 2, to be very fair. But yeah, so how do we take the grid? I'm guessing we just do the usual 6 to 10 reverse grid.
I think we should just do full reverse grid anyway.
No, that'd be madness. Are you kidding? Madness.
Well, the way this race has gone, can't really get much more interesting, can it? If you don't do that.
Very true. So let's see. We have who would be in that. It depends. We don't know whether tie-in was classified or not at the end of that, but we have 2 Lacasse in there for sure. We've got Heesterbeek in there.
We've got
Reverse grid number is 7. So if I'm not, we'll see whether it is 2 Lacasse or Heesterbeek, or whether it's not either of them. Because if it was, it's Gashella on pole. So the countback was after tie-in retired. So that makes a lot of sense. So after tie-in retired, so the grid is therefore going to be Gashella from our drivers' champion Heesterbeek, 2 Lacasse, Capit, De Vries, Yunt, Tapper.
Yeah, De Vries is just making a valid point, asking to make sure they verify the results, because he was 3rd, but it was showing us in 17th, so...
I think, if you don't mind me, guys, I'm just going to actually go over it in the chat so people know, on the last screenshot, so... Hold on. Just trying to be a helpful commentator here and give them the top 7 at least.
Yeah, it's always good to actually know who won the race. It's a bit like in Brazil 2003 when Fisichella thought he had won the race, and then they're like, no, you haven't. It's Raikkonen. And they were like, yeah, you have actually, but we'll give you the trophy 2 weeks later. You can't celebrate on the podium.
Yeah, indeed. So the question is then, obviously some people weren't able... Oh yeah, actually, thank you very much to Hoekstra who's giving us the other results here. So we've got after Gashella in P7, so Olsen 8th, Chola 9th, Hoekstra 10th, McNaughton 11th, Muscat 12th, we think. And then Francic continues on, himself, then Jordan, and not Muscat, then Malim. So that's our point scorers then. So Malim, the last point scorer.
There we go.
So thank you very much to Wopke and David for filling in the rest of the blanks there. Muscat says I was P12. You were P12 after McNaughton, who was P11. So there we are. Thank you very much, guys, for helping us fill that out.
And that also confirms then, because Capit finished in 4th and Heesterbeek finished in 6th. Yeah, Heesterbeek is the champion for 2015. Well, so congratulations to him.
So interesting scenario here. We don't know who was stopping in race 1. So what sort of tyre strategies do we think we will see in race 2? Especially now that this server issue has happened. Because think about it, if you're on the options and the thing collapses halfway through the race again, it's going to be good for you because you've gained positions.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So it's kind of weird, isn't it, in a way, because it's unfair that people got disconnected, but then it's kind of unfair that people benefited because of the mass disconnecting anyway.
Yeah.
And then the red flag that comes later, that's the whole debate of the thing, that people, whichever way you go, are going to be screwed in some way, shape or form. One set of people will get a worse result than another set. And that's the problem. That's why you can't please everyone. It's unfortunate, like life, you can't please everyone. So just please the most amount of people possible.
I think it is even worse that it happens in Super Cup and Super League and never in Formula Challenge, because we have pit stop strategies in Super Cup and in Super League. And so the guys like Junt and Tapper benefited massively because they did not have to pit until a little bit later. And it's funny that it disconnected at that point as well, because they were very close to pitting. In fact, they were in the lead battle when the server crashed.
Yeah, and I think by the time that we got to the end of the lap, I think De Vries would have been in the lead at that point anyway. So had we done, if we done, say, a lap and a half more, then De Vries would have won the race on countback, and it would have been looking at more fairish situation and less of a surprising situation. But that didn't happen, and that's just the way it is.
De Vries finding out my strategy options may be a good gamble now with server crash chances. He knows!
Option ties for the whole field, then.
It'll be interesting to see how everyone actually does pan out. Because do you take that chance? Will it happen again? Was it just a splash in the pan?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like lightning striking twice, isn't it? It's probably not going to happen, but then again, if you've got a lightning storm, you've already been struck, and somehow you're able to walk, you're probably not going to stand in the middle of the field hoping that you don't get hit a second time.
No, indeed. Oh, dear me, what an odd evening we've had here on the penultimate round of Super Cup. I hope it's not this this controversial Interlagos. Well, actually, to be fair, it won't be as controversial at Interlagos because there's no championships on the line.
So no one will really care.
It's all about pride.
Apart from the people that want to win a race.
Yeah.
And imagine if we'd said, "Oh, Papa, we know that you've just won the race. I know it's out of lucky circumstances you've won the race, but actually we're going to restart the whole race, and you're not going to have any chance of winning." Suddenly you've got at least one guy and a couple more guys around him as well that are going to be very disgruntled about that fact, especially if then we go into turn 1 and everyone's a bit silly and we have a huge pile-up, and then suddenly you've lost 6 guys who were in the original race anyway, and they're now out of the race because they've been caught up in a complete mess. It's one of those situations.
Yeah, oddly enough, Chris is actually, I think Capit and Kevin De Vries are the wrong way around, because he's got a screenshot, Chris, from the last thing that happened, which is the only official thing which he's got to base it off. So I think the countback will be to the line before the disconnection, which we know the results of, but it might just mean that for official reasons that you might have a slightly different grid to what we were expecting.
Yeah, De Vries is just confirming that if he can prove that it's wrong, then is it okay that the results will be modified? So,
Well,
I
we're
think,
just basing it off words
yeah.
here, though, you know?
yeah, I mean, what can you do? There's no
Actually,
real
somebody could go back
system.
on the YouTube stream, couldn't they?
Yeah,
Because you
and
can YouTube records and stores the stream, so even if you join late, you can go back.
can someone not also leave the server and look at the replay?
Could have
Not
done.
possible. But I guess that'd be Chris would be the only one that could
Yeah,
realistically
it's
do that.
staff
And
limitations.
yeah, and he can't do that, and then we'd be sat here for another half an hour because he's got to go through individually looking at where everyone is at the line, and it's not an easy job, and it just means that he is unfortunately going to have a lot more work to do after this race than he'd normally like to.
Pray for Chris. Hashtag.
Let's try and beat that over the hashtag Macau for ITC that seems to be going around at the moment.
Yeah. At Boss App or Alexander van der Woudes tweets in to say, I would have red flagged it. Possibility for more people DCing. Seeing that 6 people had disconnected already, it was a safe bet to red flag, even if it was a little controversial. I think that's a very fair point. There could have been more later in the race. Seeing 6 go at one point doesn't exactly look good, does it? And De Vries himself almost disconnected as well.
Yeah, he did. We thought he was gonna. I can't believe he managed to stay in. That's incredible, isn't it? Yeah, I do sometimes wonder whether some people hit escape when they go, "Oh, what's happened? Everyone's disappeared." Usually not the best option to do that, but I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of people
Attention,
have done that at some point in time.
non-essential
It was like,
personnel
"I'm going
move
to a
to the
race
ring
now."
now.
So then, yeah. Oh, interesting. So yeah, this is definitely a little bit earlier than we were expecting. So major change, well, not major changes, but changes to consider. De Vries ahead of Capit, Touloukas ahead of Heesterbeek. So the results were before those moves took place. And what of Jarl Tyen? I don't think he's back, actually. So whatever his problem was, it was pretty terminal, unfortunately.
Yeah, we've actually lost a couple of guys here as well. I think trying to work out, is there a smile power missing as well?
Do we have Jordan and Router? Is there any smile power?
We have Jordan. He's in 14th, but I don't think we have Router. No.
Router pulled off the road as well, so he had an issue. Right, anyway, off we go then. So Emmanuel Geschella is on pole, and interestingly enough, he is on the option compound tyre at the front of the field. I'm sure he's going to try and make that to his advantage. Touloukas being a bit brave, I think, to be on the prime compound tyre. We'll see how long he can last, and then we've got Heesterbeek prime, De Vries prime, Capit on options, interestingly enough. I think, to be fair though, given how bad he is on the prime usually, might be a smart decision from the Estonian. Junt prime, Tapper prime, Olsen prime, Hoekstra prime, and rounding out the top 10, we got Sandeep Choda, also on the prime. And then we've got McNaughton prime, Muscat prime, Francic prime, Jordan prime, Malim prime. We then got 2 options, Menno Klont for satellite and Edward Batalla for positive. And then we have Swokas prime, Ross prime, Shiranku prime, and Gerard Batul and Thomas Hinz round out our field. Batul on the prime, on the options, sorry, for positive. Hinz on the primes for Racing Aces PB. So a couple of people going with the risk of the one-stop strategy. Do you think it will work around here though, Sam, especially considering how close everyone seemed to be in the 66% of race 1 that we ran?
Oh, it's going to be harder. I think for someone like Geschella, I think it can work. Probably Capit as well, to be fair, if he gets a decent start running on the option compound tyres, because if they can get to the front and clear the prime guys, then they will be able to pull away and probably not come back out in the lead, but come back out in a strong enough position that in the second stint of the race, they will then be able to carve their way through a couple of drivers to take the win. So for those two, it'll work. I think the rest of the guys down the field, it won't work, and they should have probably got on the prime compound tyres. That's the way I'm going to see it.
So then, looking at that list, who do we reckon is going to take the race 2 win today, Sam, providing there is not a second server crash?
I think I want to go for an option car runner because I think it's actually quite a brave strategy
What?
now. Yeah, no, it's against what I do, isn't it? So I think De Vries is going to win it again. I think,
De
well,
Vries?
not again. Sorry, he was nearly going to win, wasn't
On the
he?
prime
But,
compound.
yeah, on the primes, he'll win it. I want to go for Capit, but I think he might. Now he's lost the title effectively. I think he might not have a good race. I'll go for De Vries.
Heesterbeek for me. Driver champion.
I'm personally gonna. I don't know, but I'm gonna
Tell us
say
quickly.
anyone who's on the primes.
Anyone who's on... Okay, that's practically everyone then. Let's come to the lines then. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for the second time here in Austin. We're racing. And it's a poor start there from Tulikas and Gashela. Look at the walks and De Vries going straight through the middle already. Tabble with a decent start as well. And Gashela trying to hold on to the lead there as we go into turn 1. Bunch him into turn 1. Gashela trying to hold on still to something in the podium. Is he going to hold on? Let's see. Is he going to be in P2? Oh, contact between him and Capit. Capit off the road. Capit into the wall. And that was not good driving from Gashela at all. Forcing Capit off into the road there. That's really poor at the start. Nevertheless, Heesterbeek leads. Gashela second, De Vries third. Tulikas, despite the abysmal start in P4 there. Olsen fifth with Hoekstra sixth. Melim up to seventh from P15. That's a great start from the Simcraft driver. And just looking back to see if anybody is in a bit of stress. Well, obviously, Capit's the worst one, and Batel as well. Batel out already. Oh dear, that's Swokas round as well down the bottom. And was he tapped, I wonder? Let's have a look quickly. He was with Capit. And nope, it was all on his own. So Swokas causing even further trouble for Capit back there. And going back up to the front then. Gashela has been overtaken by by De Vries as well. So the start not exactly going how it should have gone for Gashela. Losing not only position to Heesterbeek but to De Vries as well. And on the option tyres, that might prove a little bit fatal to his strategy. Clont up to P12, by the way. He is the second of the option runners. And Capit is going to have to pit, unfortunately, from P9. As we head on to lap 2 of 19 then, it is our new drivers' champion, Ruud Heesterbeek, who leads. From De Vries, Gashela, Tulikas, Olsen, Hoekstra, Melim, Tapper, Choda and Muscat.
Yeah, now Hoekstra's actually coming under a bit of pressure from Melim, going towards turn 1. Melim's going to look up the inside in the Simcraft car, and he just about gets the position done and closes the door on the exit and holds on to that 6th position. So a good little four-way scrap there that I'm sure is going to continue. But it's a very good start by both Heesterbeek and De Vries, and it was important actually that they got past Gagshela and also Capit, who got absolutely taken out by Gagshela. That was a touring car driving at its worst there, and unfortunately that's cost him a decent result, and his day has gone from bad to worse, really. But Gagshela now, forgetting all of that, needs to get past these top two. He's got a good chance because he's got the pace on these tyres, so he could do it. But he's really going to have to work for it now as the battle continues here between Melim and Tapper. They're going down the back straight. They're side by side already. And Choda and Muscat are right behind them as well. So we could see 3 wide by the time we get to turn 12. Tapper's on the inside of Hoekstra. And Choda's thinking about a move here as well. Sticks up the inside. And yeah, Hoekstra actually holds on to the position.
And Tapper just about holding on to P8 there as well. Oh, contact between the two is there. Muscat goes through on Choda. Oh, contact between those two as well. Choda up the inside at turn 16. And Tapper goes deep there. And oh, it's all manic down there, isn't it? It's not looking good. You know, actually, it's pretty nasty battling. But a shout out to Melim, who's had a fantastic start. Gained 9 positions in 2 laps already. The Portuguese driver looking for a strong race too.
Yeah, it's a very good start by him. He didn't really feature too much in the first race, but who knows what could have happened by the end. But now he's got a bit of a gap ahead of him to catch up, as the top 3 in the field are also still very close together. As Tapper looks on the inside of Choda going into turn 1. Jumping all over the place here, and Tapper actually gets the move done because he stunts Choda's momentum coming out the corner and takes that position back. So
then, looking back up at the front then, Ruud Heesterbeek only leads by 6/10 from De Vries, and Gashela still unable to get past. His best hope really would have been to have gained as much time on the leaders as he could, pull away as much as he could, and just try and gain a lot of time because he's almost certain to get a time penalty for what he did there with Capit. How he's not able to get past, though, is a bit worrying for Emmanuel, I'd imagine. It's really showing that his pace is not that strong.
Yeah, it certainly isn't, because I know sometimes the options take a lap or two to come in over the primes before you really start seeing the advantage that someone gains. But he certainly doesn't have the pace here today at all. I think someone's just dropped down the field, have they? What's going on here? Oh, someone's going straight on. Who was that? I didn't quite catch that.
Is it Clont? Yep, yeah. Clont's on, and he's lost his front wing as well. And that might be game over for Menno Clont. He was in a battle with Jordan and McNaughton. And, oh, yeah, Clont just completely missed his braking zone, clipped into the back of McNaughton, and he is out with suspension failure, unfortunately. So that's our second retirement of the day. As the battle between De Vries and Heesterbeek has got an even taste here, because while we were looking at Clont retiring, his teammate De Vries has taken the lead.
Yeah, so it must have happened there in that final sector, probably into turn 16, I wouldn't be surprised. As he's actually having to go defensive into turn 1 now, because Heesterbeek's going back around the outside. And Gekshela's now looking up the inside of Heesterbeek because the door was left open a little bit. Heesterbeek couldn't quite get the position there and has to slot back in behind De Vries for this following sector.
Through turns 3, 4, 5 and 6 we go then. Heesterbeek right onto the back of his pseudo-Dutch compatriot De Vries, behind in P4 and 5, Tulacas and Olsen, whose tyres went off pretty quickly in race 1. We imagine they were two of the two stoppers in that first race. They're going on equally bold strategies, I would argue, as Gekshela going on the option, because they need to actually preserve their tyres and save their tyres until the end. So we'll wait and see how much they drop off near the end and whether they can indeed survive. Going back up to Heesterbeek, though, possibly looking to line up and move on De Vries as De Vries goes to the inside. Heesterbeek ahead on the straight, though, and around the outside of turn 12 he goes. He squeezes De Vries in. But De Vries holds on for now into turn 13. We go now. Heesterbeek up the inside. And De Vries has to give him room. That is a game, set, and match for Heesterbeek so far, though. Not just yet. De Vries has other ideas. He's straight back through up into turn 16. But Heesterbeek, he's all too aware of that move. And he retakes the lead on the cutback through turn 17. He fully locks it down. He's back up into lead, though. Sven De Vries still pressuring him. And look at Gekshela as well. Heesterbeek having to take the inside line. De Vries, he was lucky to stay on track there, but that opens it up to Gekshela, who goes on the inside of De Vries into turn 20 and takes De Vries into turn 20. So Gekshela up into P2.
That's good by Gekshela. He's really going to be a thorn in these guys' sides until he comes into the pits, because they're so busy battling with each other. As he goes up the inside of Heesterbeek now, and he actually goes quite deep into the corner. But look at that, Heesterbeek's got nowhere to go. He gets caged in by Gekshela and De Vries and loses 2 positions in one corner. De Vries is up to second and just holding on to that as Heesterbeek just pokes his nose up the inside there. Very, very close racing.
And look at Tulacas and Olsen now catching up. And actually looking at Olsen, looking a lot faster than Tulacas at this stage as well. He might be burning through his tyres as well, though. We've got to keep an eye on these two. Going to be very interesting cases near the end of the race. But now, Emmanuel Gekshela into first. He is free to run away as much as he can. And as for De Vries and Heesterbeek, well, they've got 2 more people to worry about.
Yeah, it looks like it could be a 4-car train for a second at the moment, which will inevitably turn into first once Gekshela pits in about 5 or 6 laps time in this race. And look
Olsen.
at that, Tulacas is under pressure from Olsen up the inside to turn 12. And just a kind of a textbook move, you'd have to say, but Tulacas has kept it on the inside and actually got the position back, at least for the moment, because then we go to the opposite way around here for turn 16, and Olsen gets the position once again, and this time he just nudges Tulacas out of the way and stunts his momentum and takes the position. So Olsen is now up into a 4th position here.
It would be an excellent result for Olsen, already picked up a top 10. In the truncated race 1, I'm sure that another top 10 would be excellent for the Multiforce team, who have not exactly been consistent point scorers with that second car, Terence Grech, in there before he moved down to Formula Challenge for this round. Emmanuel Gekshela, though, he's not pulling away from De Vries still. And if he was to pit at this point in time, he wouldn't even come out in the points. He'd be coming up P17.
And considering there's only 19 guys left in this race, it's not a very good thing, is it? He's going to be behind pretty much everyone that's actually still in any kind of opportunity of getting points here today. So that is not looking like a good call at the moment, but we'll see what he can do now in clear air. He should be able to pull away from these guys, and certainly the guys further back as well, you'd have to think, but it's not looking easy. Perhaps it's been the wrong call.
Yeah, indeed. So,
hang on.
as
Battle for ninth here.
there is a nice battle for ninth. There's Hoekstra and Muscat there going into battle into the turn 11 hairpin. Muscat coming out on top. But look, we've got a lovely train here as well. Muscat, Hoekstra, Choda, Francic and Yunt involved as well. And it looks like Hoekstra's going to be looking up the inside of turn 12 now to try and retake 8th position then. He breaks later the Dutchman, and he goes a little deep, just connects it up, and oh, there goes Choda as well, almost into the side of Muscat, but that's a really nice move from Hoekstra. Up into P8 he goes, and he has got to be really careful, because look at Choda, Francic and Yunt behind as well. He could go out, or they could go into one corner and all come out in a different order completely.
It certainly could be the case, as Hoekstra's definitely been falling back so far. Muscat's not having quite as good a race as he had in the first half of the first race at least, and he's actually coming under pressure from Choda. Choda up the inside in the final corner. That's not usually where we see overtaking, and they're actually going to be side by side down the pit straight now as Francic looks to get involved as well. We could be seeing free wide here. We are seeing free wide here. Free wide, and Choda's actually pulled back from Muscat a little bit. Francic is going to try and take them both into turn one, and he's pretty
great drive.
Yeah, he's got it done. Got it done.
Really nice, intelligent move from David Francic up there into P9, using the slipstream of both Muscat and Choda to his advantage. But the question is, can he now pull away from this quartet, which also includes David Junt, your other point scorers, by the way, so far this race. Storm Racing's Adrian McNaughton, Smile Powers, Dennis Jordan, and Daniel Sharanku. For Fox Racing on for his first point, though, he's got Miko Swokas and James Ross there as well. Pretty close there. Swokas having a bit of a mare this race as well, given that he spun someone earlier on. Or spun himself, sorry. But he went into the back of someone. Either way. Not having the round that he would have hoped. And looking back up to the front, Emmanuel Gashella still unable to pull away from De Vries. It looks like his tyres are going already, Sam.
Yeah, I think they are, aren't they? He just hasn't really had the pace at all here. Not in qualifying, not too much in race one, although he did improve and get closer to the leaders, but this has certainly not been working out for him. Perhaps he would have maybe been able to stick with him on primes. I really don't know. Probably not, though. But this is going to hurt him so much. He's slowly starting to make his way up through the field of where he will eventually come out. I'd say it's probably about 14th now that he would come out. But that's still quite distant to the guy ahead of him after his inevitable pit stop. And actually, Heesterbeek is looking at the outside of De Vries now, going into turn one. He's going to have the outside. De Vries takes the apex, and Heesterbeek actually gets a good run out the corner. He's got the inside for turn two. And they're still going to be side by side, but he just has to slot back in through turn three. He nearly had the position done, but not quite.
Almost. Close but no cigar. And what that has allowed is for Gashella to try and run away for a little bit more. We're expecting him in probably in actually a couple of laps time if he's going half-half.
Yeah, it should be about one or two, won't it? As we're on lap 8 now, so perhaps the end of next lap or the one after.
Right, moving back into P6 and P7 here. Pedro Melim, who's had a great race so far, under a little bit of increasing pressure from our race one winner, Dawe Tappan. I'm not sure Dawe would have wanted to win in that fashion, but he has De Vries, De Vries has lost position to Heesterbeek. Sorry, go back to that. Heesterbeek staying on around the outside. It's turn 13, and Heesterbeek has got it once again. So Heesterbeek coming to P2, Sven De Vries down to P3, but Tapper has gotten past Melim into turn 12 as well. So Tapper up into P6. He's having a mightily good round, the Dutchman.
Yeah, he really is actually. He's certainly got the pace. He fell off a bit at the start of this race, but now he's picking it back up again. And he's just showing that, he did get a bit of a lucky win in the first race, but he's certainly got the pace to be up here right now and could potentially get a top 5 here today, especially if the likes of Olsen and Tulikas, who notoriously are a bit more aggressive on their tyres, may start to drop off near the end of this race. And of course, Giccella's going to disappear in a minute too. He'll be dropping down the field.
So Miko Swokas has had a retired from the race as well, also with suspension damages. Melim looking to get back through on David Tapper unable to do it this time around. But the Portuguese keeping the Dutchman honest. And that might inevitably... Oh, up the inside of turn 6. What a move that was. Caught Tapper's completely unawares. And the two still going side by side. Through turn 7 into turn 8 and turn 9. And that was a wonderful move from Malim. Just caught Tapper completely off guard. And back up into the top 6. So Tapper going to look into the turn 11 hairpin. No, not going to do anything there. That's a lovely move from Pedro Melim.
Yeah, he suddenly found the pace back once again. He fallen asleep for a little bit there, but suddenly he's picked it back up and he's back into 6th position. But look at the gap between himself and two Lucas up ahead. It's about 3.5 seconds. That looks like a mile. As Tapper's actually back up the inside going into turn 12. And he makes a move, but Melim's going to have the outside for the following corner as they come round and just being muscled out. But if he can hold it, he's got a chance here into turn 16. And yes, of course, look at that. He takes the inside line
well.
And gets the position done. Yeah, and Heesterbeek was looking all over the back of Tapper just in case Tapper went a bit wider than he actually did. But he just couldn't quite get past that. Actually, I think that affected Tapper a little bit. It kind of made him check up and didn't quite get the switch back he wanted against Melim.
Right, Emmanuel Gashella on to lap 10 of 19 now. Has actually finally started to pull a gap on Heesterbeek and De Vries. He's now 2 seconds ahead of them. And if he pits now, then he would be back again into P14. So he needs to work a bit harder. That said, he's going to be on fresh option rubber. So he should be able to fight his way through the field pretty quickly. Heesterbeek still ahead of De Vries. And then you've got Olsen and Tulikas who are being helped out massively here by the battle between Melim, Tapper and Hoekstra. Really holding each other up at the moment. And then you've got Francic 9th, Muscat 10th, with Choda in 11th, and David Junt and Adrian McNaughton keeping him company 12th and 13th. Jordan 14th, and Danny Sharank, who's still holding on to that final point for Fox Racing. 3 retirements so far, Batol, Klont, and Mikko Swokas. 10 laps still to go, and going back up to P2, Ruud Heesterbeek is holding on for dear life from Sven De Vries. And they're just about hold on, but yeah, De Vries looking very hungry. You've got to watch out for when Gashella is pitting now.
Yeah, it's surely going to be this lap. You'd think that he'd be, not playing the ball right if he stays out any longer than this. It's just going to mean that there's a very, very short final stint, which I don't think would be very necessary at all. As he speaks effectively holding on to the lead at the moment from De Vries, and this is a great battle that we've had between these two. It's another one that we've had this year, quite a few battles between them, as Gakshela's actually stayed out, hasn't he? So he's done another lap. But yeah, Heesterbeek and De Vries have had some great battles this year, and that's actually something that I'm going to miss, as they're surely not going to be here next year in Supercup.
De Vries will be, I think.
Potentially, yes, but certainly not Heesterbeek, and that will be a shame just to not see them battle with each other anymore, which I always thoroughly enjoy. But of course, you've got to move up at some point.
Well, yeah, as I say, I've been a big person against Heesterbeek moving down in the first place. I think that's pretty well known to most of the GPVWC crowd, of course. I will say, the battles between him and plenty of other drivers throughout the field, not just De Vries, have been sensational. He is the champion, though, as I predicted at the very start of the year. And as champion, I think it's his right. He's proven his point. He is still fast. Time to move back up now, I think. And I certainly hope to see him with Walk Racing, because that'll be a very exciting combination if they are both together in Super League for next year, of course. Now, interesting information through. Right to Lucas has messaged me saying, from lap 10... just over halfway through the race, he had 54% of his tyre left. And for you guys at home, that basically means that last lap, maybe last couple of laps, him, and I imagine Olsen as well, will be struggling quite a lot. It could let the likes of Melim, Tapper, Hoekstra, Francic back into the game. And I think what they're going to be hoping for more than anything now is that these guys do all still start battling for each other. So the prime compound strategy could come back to bite them.
Yeah, it could do, but looking at the way Melim, Tapper and Hoekstra are all battling away with each other at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a very little tyre life left. I've seen Tapper light up the rears going through the stadium section. It was quite a sight to see, and something you certainly don't want to be doing too much of. As talking of tyres, the guy in the options, the only guy in the options now, Gekshela, is still out there and still leading the way. His leads yo-yoed again. He's gone back in a bit, and as a matter of fact, Tulikas has suddenly caught up with Olsen as well. He's all over the back of the gearbox of Olsen for 4th and 5th position. So perhaps Olsen's just had a mistake in this first sector.
Perhaps. I'm getting a live feed update from Tulikas. 45% now, he says. Lap 12, 7 to go. Let's have a little look. We can do quick maths, James, on the fly here. So it's lap 12. He's used, what, 55% of the tyre. Let's see, 55 divided by 12. So that is 4.5 per lap. How long has he got to go? 7, which means that by the end, he will have 12% left. And let's see, working in blocks, 100 divided by 6 equals... So he is, I reckon, last lap, he is going to fall off the cliff massively. But that is what that 5-second gap for Malim will be about. That could be very... Olsen's made a mistake! Olsen's made a massive mistake! And off into the gravel he goes, outside of turn 19. Kept it out the wall. Very lucky boy. That's going to lose him a host of positions as Gekshela finally pits.
Yeah, oh my god, by Olsen. I was just seeing that now. Sorry, he's just lost it coming out the basically turn 8 at Istanbul's south corner, and he's actually now battling with McNaughton and Junt down the pit straight. They're nearly 3 wide, and Junt actually gets just closed out there. Nowhere to go, and McNaughton is on the inside of Olsen. And but also gets a good run out the corner, and he's going to go hold on to that position going through turn 2.
Lucky, but I'm shocked he didn't hit the wall, any of the walls at that stage. And he was able to get the gravel very quickly as well. Very impressive.
Yeah, he basically came to a stop in the gravel, got back out, and okay, he's lost a lot of positions as he
he's down
drops
to
behind.
11.
Yeah, dropped behind McNaughton now, and Junt and Jordan are right there, and then behind them is the option compound runner of Gekshela, who's
got to go back up to the front. Sorry, we've got to battle for the lead. De Vries around the outside of Heesterbeek for P1 here. And he's holding on. De Vries has got the inside for turn 13. And he's got it, so De Vries takes the lead now. This is the battle for the lead of the race. Massive, well, it's not going to be massive connotations, but it's all for pride. And these two have been battling away all throughout the year. I'm pretty sure De Vries would like to have another win to his name. As there's obviously diminishing opportunities to do it. Only 2 more races after this one to go. 1 more round. Still looking as tight as ever between the two. Where did Gekshela come out, by the way? So Gekshela in P14, like we expected, but he's on fresh option rubber, and he's got about 4 cars ahead of him within a second. So he could be quids in Gekshela for potentially a top 10 as Heesterbeek around the outside of turn 1, and it's still side-by-side contact between the two. And De Vries holding on around the outside of turn 2 there, just holds on for now. Looking good. I wonder how these guys' tyre wear are going. Right, Tulikas saying that he is saving a lot, but on course for Enterprise's first podium of the year. He's got a 4-second gap to Malim, and Malim hasn't exactly escaped Tapper either, so really, Dawe Tapper, I think he's going to be very good with he's going to be very good friends with Right Tulikas after the race if he can catch up to Malim and provide a threat once again.
Yeah, he's certainly... look at that. I'm just watching the lead, sorry, because De Vries is having to go defensive again. Down towards turn 12. Heesterbeek's on the outside. He's actually got a nose ahead if he can brake late enough. Oh, but look at that. De Vries takes that corner perfectly. Just hits the apex and runs right out to the outside and completely takes Heesterbeek's line completely fairly as well. So De Vries keeps the lead that he had. And once again, this battle continues on. It's a great little battle here.
Yeah, indeed. Really, really awesome. And look at this. Tapper on the back of Malim. I think some people's tyres are going. And I mean, look at the battle behind as well. Francic, Muscat, Hoekstra all in combat. Choda on his own, McNaughton on his own. And then we've got Junt, Olsen. And look at Gekshela. Gekshela up to P13, so he's already dispatched of Jordan. looking very tasty for the final few laps as we head on to lap 15 with De Vries. 4 to go.
Yeah,
Or 5 to go, sorry.
Those tyres are only going to get better and better as the other guys wear off. And yeah, Melim is actually really struggling as well. He's got Tapper all over the back of him. Actually looks up the inside slightly going into turn 1, but nothing to be done there. So let's have a look. He's actually losing time to Tulikas as well. So that's good for the Enterprise car. But of course, it could all still change. And if Tapper is released, potentially he could catch him. Anything could happen at the end of this race. There's still a long way to go. This is super exciting stuff right here.
Massive points for Street Fighter, though, isn't it? Considering that they were, 11th in this battle in the bottom of...
What did I say as well before this round? That one of those guys wouldn't win the race today, and we've already had a Street Fighter win.
That's good. It's going to jump Street Fighter up massively as Heesterbeek and De Vries at it again to turn 12, and this time Heesterbeek, he breaks a little too late, and De Vries able to hold on into turn 13 we go now. Heesterbeek takes the inside, De Vries on the outside, and once again maintaining speed at a lovely rate. So, excuse me there, he takes the lead, De Vries. Excellent battle between this slot, and then all the way back to Melim. And I tell you what, Melim is really starting to slow, isn't he? Got Tapper all over the back of him, Francic catching, Muscat catching, Hoekstra catching. I'm waiting to see when the cliff happens for some of these guys. Oh, Heesterbeek almost crashes into the back of De Vries, their final corner. And now that has given De Vries a bit of a gap to build upon now. Was that a crucial moment in this race, I wonder? Lap 16.
It could potentially, or this could give Heesterbeek a bit of time to try and cool himself down and just catch back up once again. He's already cut up a little bit, but then just lost it coming out of turn 2. Just seeing if there's any other closer battles. It's spread out a little bit. I think everyone's just kind of regrouping and going again for another push. There's Yunt and Olsen are battling very hard into turn 1 as well. And Gixelis is unlooking the both of them. He'll need to get past them if he wants to catch
once
McNaughton.
Once again though, with Gishella on the option tyres and still unable to get past prime opposition.
It seems to take him quite a while to kind of get the tyres going, it looks like, doesn't it? He just doesn't really get them going straight away.
Oh wow, Sven going out the defensive, even though...
As we go to Sven De Vries now again, who is again, the gaps come into 5 tenths. I have no doubt that Heesterbeek is the faster driver here. It's just that De Vries is staying ahead of him, making sure that he stays within a second of him until they get to the straight or until they get to an overtaking zone, and then he's straight back in again, doing a wonderful, good defensive drive here, De Vries.
He really is. It's De Vries at his best right now, doing what he does. And I'm just watching again this battle, Yunt, Gixeller and Olsen. They've gone 3 wide into the stadium section, and somehow they've all come out of it.
Off track as well.
Yeah, cutting across the track. There's actually technically a cut I've seen. And Olsen's actually taken the position from Yunt. It looks like he might just be able to hold it round this very long right-hander and get it just in position for turn 19 and holds on to it. Yeah, good effort.
Not just yet. Wait for it. He runs up the inside of turn 20 here. Surely breaks later. Oh, and Olsen turns in a bit too early there. And this could allow Gishella in. Yunt with a poor exit due to the contact with Olsen. Gishella is past. Gishella now using the slipstream of Olsen to his advantage. Will he go to the inside? No. Olsen goes defensive. Yunt on the outside.
What?
And Gishella around the outside of Olsen at turn 1. Smart driving once again, in stark contrast to his driving on lap 1 in a ramming Capit off the road and ultimately out of the points. That was a nice move from Gishella. Ultimately, whether it will get him any points by the end of the race is yet to be seen.
Yeah, he'll certainly get a few as it currently stands. He's got his teammate about 4 seconds up the road, so he might actually struggle.
Well. Can I just have a shout out to the battle for P15 as well? Sharanku versus Ross. Fox versus ST, looking for a point. These guys are still strapping away, but look who's 3 seconds behind them. It's Risto Capit, and he is still in with a chance of scoring a point even at this late stage.
He really is.
Interesting one to watch for sure.
He certainly will be.
And Tapper, yep.
Yeah, just got around the outside of Melim going into turn 12, and it's actually managed to hold it, although Melim's surely going to dive here in turn 16 does. Gets the position back, and Tapper has to just drop back a little bit, and he won't be able to get Melim round here unless Melim makes a mistake around this very long right-hander. And once again, Melim's holding on, and this is really critical now because this is so important for Tulikas up the road. It's helping him maintain that 4-second gap between himself and these battling trio,
And
which
you know
could
what?
actually become a 5-car battle.
Right, we've just had the latest update from him. 23% for Tulikas. The percentage which is crucial is 16 as we look to Tapper and Melim here. Into turn 1 we go. Tapper just about holding on. Melim up the inside though. Great cutback from the Portuguese driver. Francis looking eager as well. Heading through to turn 2. And this is all falling perfectly into Tulikas' hands as these three still scrap away for P4. But yeah, 23%. That would mean that there is what? 7% left of the tyre. So all contact between Tapper and Melim there. I think Tulikas' tyres will fall off on the last lap, but it might very well be into the last lap at that. So 4-second buffer as well. Looking very good for the Estonian as we look up to the lead now. Sven de Vries defending off Ruud Heesterbeek once again. Contact!
Oh my God.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
I've no idea what just happened there. I thought they were both going to go ploughing into the wall for a second, then they both speared across the left-hand side of the track. Took the apex all but very awkwardly and ran very wide on the exit, as I think there's been a pass. So yeah, Tapper's actually got into 4th position, Francic in 5th, and Melim down to 6th.
Hoaxer in this battle, and Muscat as well now.
Yeah, exactly, and Hoaxer's actually looking up the inside. Oh my God, Melim's gone up the inside of Francic, he's gone up the inside of Tapper, and Francic gets a position. Tapper loses 2 positions in one corner. He's going to be devastated by that.
That's a real shame.
If I may interrupt, just looking at the de Vries Heesterbeek incident, I'm aware about to go on to the last lap, but it looked like Ruud, according to my screen, was doing 180 miles an hour in 3rd.
Heesterbeek, and Heesterbeek's around the outside,
No,
going
it
into
doesn't
turn 1.
matter.
And de Vries holds on to position through turn 1. He's got to defend for this final lap here.
Looking good for de Vries. Tulikas has hit the cliff, apparently. He has hit the cliff.
Oh!
And Hoekstra's got past Tapper, and what happened there?
Tapper went flying into a Melim and just hit the side of him, completely wiped out the side pod. I can't believe no one lost the front wing. Incredible.
Exciting times here as we hear Tulikas has hit the cliff. Francic, might he have a chance to nick a podium here as he pulls away from Melim, Hoekstra, and Tapper and Muscat as well. Back up at the front, Ruud Heesterbeek really takes the lead. De Vries, however, has an excellent exit. He's back out, and look at that, ultra defensive once again between the two of them. The last time we were here, we almost had a crash. Will we have a crash this time? Going into turn 12, the two of them side by side into the braking zone. Heesterbeek brakes very late, but De Vries brakes later. Heesterbeek running outside. What a great move there. Sticking up the inside of turn 13, surely. Keeping it clean this time, and Heesterbeek is through. Heesterbeek is through, but De Vries surely will go on the inside turn 16. Yes, he does. Contact between the two. That was not good driving, but it's worked. And now into turn 17 and 18. Oh, is that? Oh my word. I thought he was going to let Heesterbeek through. Not so. I think they've hit the cliff as well, haven't they? Into turn 19. They're just about going to hold on then. Sven de Vries, after an interesting battle to say,
Heesterbeek!
Heesterbeek's round! He's going to reverse over the line. Well, it doesn't matter what way you get there, as long as you get there. De Vries wins from Heesterbeek. Tulikas secures Enterprise's first podium of the year. Melim 4th, Hoekstra 5th, Francic 6th, Tapper unlucky to be 7th to be fair. McNaughton 8th, Choda 9th, Muscat 10th, Gashella ultimately 11th with a decent recovery drive, Jordan 12th, Olsen 13th, Yunt 14th, and Capit did indeed secure that final point in P15 after being hit off by Gashella in the first place.
Wow.
So what a great recovery drive from Capit considering.
I think something's happened, haven't there? Because Sharanku's going around the track with a puncher.
I think him and Ross must have had an incident.
Yeah, Ross is miles back, so I think there was carnage between the two, and that's cost them both dearly. But sorry, just to really recap, then De Vries, a fantastic bit of defending and a bit of a debatable dive bomb, I guess, into turn 16, but that's the nature of the corner. It allows kind of crazy lines going into it. I don't know whether the two of them will have any words or if no one will really care, because Heesterbeek is our champion and he's a champion by reversing over the line. Well, he was a champion, but he just reversed over the line for fun anyway. That was a good bit of a laugh. But then we'd have to say that Tulikas, has to be my driver of the race here, because he has scored his first podium and Enterprise's first podium after a great round by Jonathan Holmes, his little bow out of this series back in Abu Dhabi, where they got a 6th and 5th position. Tulikas has gone not only one better, but he's gone 2 better, and he's picked up 3rd position for Enterprise. So Tulikas has got it done. And he's always struggled with the tyres, but perhaps it was the colder temperatures today that helped him out, and he was looking good in race 1 as well. So it's great for him to be rewarded with such a good finishing position, and that's important for their battle for 7th position in the championship as well, considering, of course, the Street Fighter picked up a win in the first race with Tapper, who also took a 7th in the second race as well.
Zurich scored decently with Hoekstra as well, of course.
Absolutely, and Fox got a few points for that.
Yeah, Fox got a podium.
Back. Yeah, they did.
But yeah, they are further back. I don't think we can worry about them too much. But, well, we've got a very interesting interview to start us off then. With his first race win of the season, we welcome Dawe Tapper. Now, Dawe, knowing you wouldn't have wanted to get your first race win in Super Cup in that fashion. But given that you got that result and a 7th in race 2 as well, surely all worth it at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I've been. This is my 2nd season now in SC, and I haven't been as successful as I had hoped I would be. So to get a win, even in the conditions as they are, it's still good anyway. So
where do we kick on from here? Interlagos, final round of the season next, before the expected switch to R Factor 2. Do you just have an idea of, going out there and having fun in the final round, or do you want another taste of the podium for that final round? Obviously, Street Fighter still embroiled in the battle to get up into... In fact, I think they are in the top 10 now, but obviously you still want to finish as high as you can as an outfit.
well, yeah, obviously. But yeah, well, next round is just going to be, well, pretty much the same approach as I did here. Just get in and try the best I can, and I was in no way, shape, or form quick enough to even get close to the win in normal conditions. But yeah, like you said, I'm just gonna try to get as much points next race, and that's pretty much it. And then afterwards, we'll look onward into the next season, I guess.
Fantastic. Well, cheers for joining us, Dawe, and congratulations on your race win. However, you may have got it. You're in the right place at the right time, so I think that's a cause for celebration in itself. And now we shall bring in some other podium sitters. Perhaps we can go on to the other person who lucked in there in race 1. So David Yunt scoring Fox Racing's first podium of the year. Just a case of right place, right time, David, but unlucky to be behind Dawe Tapper at the wrong point.
I think if I check the results, it might be even Fox's first visit to the podium in Super Cup.
I will go and check that for you.
All right. But what can I say? I mean, that was, as you said, pure luck. I think I was just trying to mirror Dawe, because Dawe was still like 12 points ahead of me in the championship. So I tried to go with him and make the primes last a bit longer, and I had forgotten how long the options last. So just went on, and I then noticed that it was probably too long, but just then servo crashed, or at least we got servo problems, and then, yeah, red flag, so really lucky to be there.
I've just checked, and you did indeed. That is Fox's first podium ever. So worth it, I'd say. I mean, there's definitely still question marks over whether they might get relegated this season for an overall poor performance, but still I think a podium will be a nice thing to celebrate at the end of the year. I'm going to ask you the same question as I asked Dawe. Just going out there to have fun at Interlagos, or, are you looking to try and get another podium? I'm not sure what the aims of Fox Racing are, at least, given that you're so far behind everyone, it seems.
Oh, well, I mean, if I manage like tire wear like today, then there's no chance. I mean, in the second race it was especially bad. So if I can't get them better, the tires, and make them stay a bit longer, well, healthy, then I'm not sure if at Interlagos I'm gonna be close to the podium. But I think at Fox we're already happy, or Bart would be happy if we just have 2 cars turning up, doing laps, and maybe scoring points. So I'll try to finish the season then on a good end, because I think I'm barely back into the top 10 of the championship, and I think I would like to stay there and give Fox some good results at the end.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, congratulations on your podium then, whether it be lucky or not. And now we've got a very interesting couple of interviews up. First of all, let's go to Sven de Vries, who was the winner of race 2 there. Third in race 1 as well, despite your protests about restarting it. I want to talk about your battle with Heesterbeek in race 2, though, because that seemed to flare up quite a bit. What was your view on the whole thing?
Yeah, first of all, had to win a race. Maybe the way it happened wasn't the way I wanted to. I thought we had a great battle the entire race. Every time I threw it, it's fair, and we have a lot of respect for each other on and off the track. When we collided in the straight, I just looked back in the replay. My opinion is just bad luck. I'm glad nothing worse came from that. I doubt either of us would intentionally push each other or ram each other off. In regards to the incident in the last turn, I looked back in the replay as well. My point of view, it was obvious that I was going to, try and undercut there. It's a perfect corner to do that, as Jarl proved that in race 1 many times. In my opinion, I didn't brake too late and make corner fine. Obviously, I was in a different line. When I compare our speeds, we were doing the same speeds. I guess Ruud just didn't check me there. I'm not sure. I guess we have different opinions on that. But overall, happy with my race. I knew my tires were going to go off quicker than his, so I figured I tried to save them as much as possible, but I couldn't prevent them from falling off very hard in the last lap. So it was very tight.
Very tight indeed. And well, usually I would ask you another question, but I think we've got to rush on to the new drivers' chairman, of course. So well done on you winning your podium, Sven. Well deserved in both cases. But on to our brand new drivers' champion, Ruud Heesterbeek. Won in the most odd of fashions, given that one race you had a massive disconnection causing a red flag, and in the second race you crossed the line backwards. But as I said in the race, as long as you secure the points, it doesn't matter how you do it, given that you don't ram anybody off the track, of course. But you are the new drivers' champion. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels good. I mean, it was obvious that I was going to be either this round or next round, so I wasn't like nervous or something. Then yeah, I was off the pace in the first race and in qualifying because I made some last minute changes to the setup that were bad. And then of course I was a bit unlucky that there were, I don't know, I thought I was 6th and then I was maybe 5th in race 1, but anyway a couple of people that were ahead that wouldn't have been if we continued. But okay. Race 2, a good fight with Sven. I mean, I think we were as quick as one another. Contact on the straight first, on the braking point. I was really happy with that. Yeah, I guess it's just maybe a bit of lag involved. And then,
well, gone.
Okay, well, yeah, the last corner. I mean, I remember a move that I did on Jim Paris's once, and I got penalized for it. And I don't think Sven's move is like really different from what I did there. Only that maybe I was a bit slower than Jim there, so that I didn't get pushed off the track. But I think that what I did in France then and what Sven did here was really similar. Honestly, I don't really care about the result.
You've won. It doesn't matter ultimately. So can we at least get a guarantee from you that you're going to be coming to the final race of the year? Because unfortunately with a couple of drivers, as soon as they've won it, it's like, don't need to turn up anymore. So will we at least see you at Interlagos for a final fling out in Super Cup?
Yeah, sure, I'll be there. I'd really like Interlagos, so hopefully we can end the season with a good result.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining me, Ruud, and thank you very much to all of the drivers joining me. Of course, today, plenty of podium sitters. The only one who wasn't here, of course, Wright, who was Sam's driver of the day in race 2. So then, that is it. After a crazy, crazy day of Super Cup racing, we only have one more round left, Sam. And that round is Interlagos, a personal favourite of mine. It always seems to throw up some fantastic overtakes and some shock results as well.
Yeah, Interlagos is also a track that I absolutely love. I think it's so unique in terms of the lack of corners really around the track, and it's got such nice kind of cambered corners, very good kind of how would you put it? Angles, I guess. Not very tight, very flowing. It's an absolutely fantastic track, and one that also throws up a lot of variables in terms of weather as well. So even though we've got nothing to play for in terms of the main positions in the championship now, we've still got a lot to play for in terms of pride, and a lot of teams down the field as well be looking for some good results to round out their season. And with the kind of weather that we could have, that could really play into effect, and we could see yet another exciting and surprising victory in the final round. It's going to be a real party atmosphere. I think potentially a good send off to R Factor 1 for Super Cup as well. So it's certainly one to catch out for, and one that I can't wait for in 2 weeks' time.
Neither can I. But you guys at home shouldn't be waiting either until tomorrow, as we have the American Grand Prix with Simon Smith and Thomas Hinz at the helm on comms. There should be a very exciting challenge there, as we've got Philip Pushka and David Feider vying for the driver's title. Vodball Racing could actually wrap up the constructors as well. It would be their first constructors championship ever. So tune into that to make sure that you are all up to date. And then only one race next week, Sam. It's all the races are leaving us, unfortunately. Now all the different series, and well, that race, or three races I should say, is the International Touring Cup. It's the finale there. Both championships rounded up as well, so it should be a good fun event with Simon Smith, of course. And that's the Portland International Raceway. Should be lots of overtaking opportunities there. One of the classic tracks of R Factor 1 as well. Always find some good overtakes and good racing there. And then in 2 weeks' time, the last main events of the year. It's all come to an end so fast. But do remember, please, to join us on the Tuesday for Open Series, followed by Formula Challenge. And make sure to join us specifically in 2 weeks' time, when we will be rounding off the 2015 Super Cup season in style at the Interlagos circuit. So then, I would like to just take these final few moments to thank my cameraman, Mr. Joshua Anderson, providing us with all the shots. To my co-commentator, Sam Jones, for providing me with lots to talk about and saying stuff when I can't think of anything to say. I've been James Kirk, and from all of us here, it is a very warm goodbye.